receiver.
Awesome game center.
Checker flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's showtime.
And welcome into the Monday edition of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley back in the house this week. Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knesvik, intern Handley here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Hope everybody's doing well. Joe Rexrode, how are you? It's good to see you.
I'm fine. Good to see you too. How was your vacation?
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Played some golf, did some yard sale stuff. Got totally off social media. It was great.
Yeah, getting off social media. That's so you went how many days without even glancing at social media?
It was from Friday, directly after we got off the show that Friday that I left until yesterday afternoon. So
that's pretty awesome.
Or yesterday morning, excuse me.
Okay.
So 8+ days.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that is.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm gonna try it. We're gonna, a couple weeks here. I'm gonna try it. I've never taken off my phone. I've gotten away and not tweeted anymore, but still like, yeah, what's going on? Yeah. Let me see.
I had no clue what was happening.
Yeah, that's kind of
awesome.
That's kind of sweet. And you had a yard sale, you said?
Yeah, we had a yard sale at my grandmother's house, and all the proceeds benefited Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, so it was good.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we did that for 2 days, and that's what I did.
Pretty
Very
sweet.
low key.
Yeah, so you're energized for the big packed sports week.
Big sports week this week. No question about it. Michelle, how are you? What's going on?
Guys, I'm good. Also, Robby, I would say staycations sometimes are greater than going away vacation.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I was on the golf course yesterday working, and I woke up so sunburned. Guys, I showed Handley my arms. I mean, it is my fault because I didn't put sunscreen on. But, yeah, I'm a little fried on the arms right now.
Go ahead. Let's yeah, this is
It's
oh
long.
my gosh.
Good gracious.
Yep. And then, like, when your lips are sunburned, and you're just like, oh, this is uncomfortable. So, yeah, note to self, I have red hair, so I need to put sunscreen on.
It's going to be a little warm this week, so keep that in mind. You're back out there.
Man.
Now, there's a little bit more relief. Like today, I think it's going to be like 93 or whatever. Originally, I looked at the forecast for Monday a few days ago. It's going to be like 102. It's like, oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, right.
We'll get there later this week.
Yeah, right now I've got two days with triple digits on my little weather thing. So, but
I don't like to complain because I complain about the cold. Triple digits, all right.
I have not been bothered one bit by this stuff.
No.
I mean, not one bit. And I think at this point, 41 would ruin me.
Yeah.
Like sub 50. I mean, I don't know.
I'd rather 50 than 100. I get like claustrophobic in the air.
Just because how hot it is?
Really uncomfortable.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it does.
Claustrophobic in the air sounds awful. Are you sure you cut out to be a sub? I mean, we're trying to turn you into a Southerner here.
Yeah,
Guys, I'm trying. Okay, I'm trying.
This is an intense start, but yeah, gotta get with it.
Yeah,
it's not even August yet.
Don't worry, when your bones get old.
When Joe just sees me passing out at Titans training camp, just leave me there, Joe. Just leave me in the corner.
Just in a puddle.
Just hanging out. Meanwhile, Vrabel's over there in his long sleeve shirt. That's always the most incredible thing. And I guess apparently that there's science behind this, that you can wear long sleeve shirts out there, and it apparently is better for you. I've never tried that.
Well, it's better. I mean, then you won't get torched like Michelle did. Glennon wears the long sleeves out there all the time. But that's just,
I can't do
that's purely a sun. I don't know what Vrabel. Sometimes I look at that. I see him out there. I'm like, maybe I should do that. Just sweat it out a little bit more.
It's like 101 out there. Vrabel's got a hoodie on.
Just
like, good.
Contain it. Yeah. But yeah. Titans. There's so much stuff you missed.
I know.
That really we need your reaction to. The Vols.
Yeah.
The base Vols. Man, that was a toughie.
That's a tough one.
NBA Finals. I mean, Draymond's still talking trash.
Is this your favorite championship?
Oh yeah, man, it's amazing. And like all this trash talk. Now we got like, is it still like the Warriors and Grizzlies are still like sniping at each other now? I know that like there was a little bit of like, I mean, that was pretty
Clay
funny.
fired back.
Clay,
Yeah.
What did he call him, a bum? Called J. You bum. The thing is, like, that tweet isn't even, I mean, I understand it's like mocking one of their little phrases, right?
Yeah.
Strength in numbers. Yeah. But I mean, it's a funny tweet, but why is that the one? There must have been other stuff that was more in your face, right?
You would think.
But that one just stuck with Clay. I don't know.
Clay, he keeps receipts. I think we've learned that about Clay Thompson.
Jeez, no
He's
kidding, right?
Big time receipt keeper out there.
I mean, there's a fantastic pettiness to all of them, but that also goes with when you're on top and you get knocked for it, and then you get knocked when you go to the bottom.
Yeah,
that's a lot of years of kind of eating it, and then that may be their last one. Although, I mean, I think they're a contender next year.
Stephen A. said they're going back next year. Going back to the final. That's
a pretty sweet championship. Well, are they going to bring Wiggins back? Is Wiseman going to become something? They could still be a very, very good. And how much longer does Steph have to play at this level?
Well, y'all probably talked about this last week, but I'm going to ask you again anyway. What does championship number 4 do for Steph Curry in your mind in terms of legacy as they move forward?
Yeah,
he's already an all-time great heading into the series, but now that he's got number 4.
Yeah, well, I mean, I agree with what Elijah was saying, which is it was overblown, this whole he needs to have an MVP in the finals, but he has it now. There's no question that he should have won it. I don't care if Wiggins went for 50 in the last game. It was Steph was the MVP. He's up. I mean, I've seen a lot of people say now you put him with all those guys, Magic, Michael, Kareem, all the multi champions. We already knew he's the best shooter ever. I think he is, and this is big statement from me. I think he's the best little man to play basketball. So I don't know. It's like, where does he rank? I've seen some people say he's a top 5 player. I don't know. Is he? He's an ultimate champion. He's one of the greats. He's one of those guys who actually finish the job and win multiple championships. But I think those 3. I mean, I think Steph, Clay, Draymond are all basketball Hall of Famers. They all deserve to be. And Steph obviously is the top guy, and Kerr too. I mean, I think Steve Kerr, he'll probably get the knock like Phil Jackson got a little bit. Like, oh great, so you won these championships with Jordan or with Kobe and Shaq, and I guess with Kerr you can say. But the thing is, it's like Steph, Clay, Draymond, none of them are that level of individual all-around talent, right? Other than Steph is just, I don't know. It's so hard to
shoot. Yeah,
it's just hard to put him into context sometimes. But Kerr too. I mean, I just think he's a great coach, and this series was an illustration of that too. So I don't know. But some people question whether it was a dynasty, and that's out the door now.
Yeah, 4 titles in 8 years.
It's a really good one, even if Michael Wilbon called it a millennial dynasty.
Oh.
Like, what?
What does that even mean?
Basically, it means that Michael Wilbon's old and says nothing could ever be as good as like the Celtics, Lakers, et cetera, et cetera.
The Bulls.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right. And look, the Bulls dominated, but it's hard too because the Bulls in the 90s, the NBA really it was a little bit watered down compared to the 80s.
Yep.
And so, but they also, they did win 6 in 8 years.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So, but pretty sweet, and I'm really looking forward to every Grizzlies Warriors game next year for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, no question about it. Joe, I usually have when Tampa Bay, the Lightning, they get down in a series, I usually think to myself, all right, well, it's early, they'll be fine. They got down against Toronto, they were fine. They got down against the Rangers, they were fine. I don't know if they're going to be fine in this one. Colorado looks pretty darn good out there. They went 7-0 in Game 2, and not only is the final score obviously impressive, winning 7-0, Vasilevsky's not played very well so far through the first 2 games. But I think the most eye-opening thing for me in Game 2 was after you lose Game 1, if you're the Lightning, they created nothing offensively. Like, Colorado was totally locked down defensively. They had the puck the whole game. Even the power play, Cale Makar gets the puck shorthanded and just waltzes down there 2-on-1. And makes it, I think, 6-0 at the time. Like, they were dominant in every aspect of the game. And I get it. It's Tampa Bay. They've been my pick all year long. They've won 11 playoff series in a row. This one kind of feels like it could be different, Joe Rexrode.
You're wobbling. You're wobbling in the Lightning.
There's a little bit of wobbling going on.
Yeah. Well, that game could be one of those slap you in the face moments, right?
Yeah.
Rock bottom, embarrassment. You come back and win one game, and who knows? But Colorado increasingly looks just stupid good.
Yeah.
They are ridiculous. But it's disappointing. I mean, I really thought Tampa Bay was going to come with their best game in Game 2, and they did anything but that.
No.
And why is that? Is it just that Colorado's that good? I don't know. It's weird with the Lightning because there have been other times in this postseason where they just really haven't looked great.
Yeah. Well, they're not as bad as Saturday night.
No.
Like, they're not 7-0 worse than Colorado. Like, the one thing for the Lightning, well, there's a couple things. The main thing you have if you're the Lightning is Vasilevsky at some point in the playoff series tends to figure it out, and when he does, he's pretty darn near impossible to beat. Now, could that continue to be the case against Colorado? I don't know, because they have so much firepower, and they got guys right now just playing at an unbelievable level. So maybe he could be great against Colorado, and you're still going up 3 or 4 a game. The other thing is, like, they have experience with their backs against the wall, and they come out of it every time. Now, can they do that again? I don't know, but it's a big one tonight coming up in Game 3. Like, you have to win. To me, you have to win these next 2 if you're the Lightning. Like, you got to win Game 3 and 4.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't fall down 3-1.
No.
Yeah, just start by not giving up touchdowns anymore.
Yeah.
Do that for sure. But yeah, it's interesting with Vasilevsky. You know, can he figure this team out? Yeah.
I don't know.
It is interesting. It's like what goes into that exactly with him, but it does seem that way, right? Like it seemed like that way in the last series. Like at some point, they figured them out. You win 4 straight, but that's also. I mean, you think back to the series before that. I thought that they were just what they did to Florida was just. I mean, Florida's really good.
Yeah.
Like Florida and Colorado this year are comparable.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess sometimes matchups get you. Also. I mean, this is part of why it's hard to win 3 in a row, probably because there is the cumulative effect of playing deeper than everybody year after year after year. So, big one tonight.
Big one tonight, no question about it. We're off and running here today on Robby and Rexrode, taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get to some interesting comments over the weekend that maybe a former Nashville Predators head coach could be on his way back to the organization. All that coming up next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Indeed believes less is more. That's why they have powerful tools to help you source, screen, and hire quality people faster. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
People are driving from all over to shop at Genesis Diamonds right now to take advantage of our very best financing offer. Now extended through July 2nd. 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down. It's a fantastic opportunity, making everything more affordable. How about a $6,000 GIA certified diamond for just $100 a month? A $4,000 pair of diamond stud earrings, just $67 a month. Don't miss this. We will not be extending it again. 5 years, 0 interest financing, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. Open this Sunday. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Hey Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have 2 choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Well, sir, what we're told is that Barry Trotz, his intention is to make his decision on his NHL future around July 1st, and he's indicated that to a few teams. Now, we know, of course, we reported before that he's interviewed with the Winnipeg Jets, he's interviewed with the Detroit Red Wings, among other clubs, for the head coaching jobs. But we're also told that he has chatted with his old NHL club, the Nashville Predators, about a potential management role with the organization, which has always kind of been rumored about Barry Trotz, but it's interesting that that's yet another option for Barry Trotz potentially.
That was Pierre LeBrun from The Athletic and from TSN over the weekend discussing the future of Barry Trotz. Joe saying there that around July 1st is the time Trotz would like to make his decision. He's had several different interviews with teams around the league for head coaching positions, and as LeBrun points out there, has also apparently had conversations with the Nashville Predators about a management role. I don't think that's hugely surprising. Like, I expect one day, whether it's now or sometime in the not-too-distant future, for Barry Trotz to end up back here as some sort of management role, But what did you make of that, of Pierre LeBrun putting it out there that apparently those conversations have happened, and that could be an option for Barry Trotz as he decides what his NHL future looks like?
Well, I mean, it's, to me, if Pierre is saying it, then obviously there's some substance and maybe some. I mean, the thing is, so he mentioned the Jets and the Red Wings. He said among other clubs. Who else do we know? Do we know other?
I would imagine.
Has it specifically been reported?
I don't know if we know any that have specifically been. Philadelphia, I think, may have met with him. I think he did meet with Philadelphia. I would imagine.
Vegas?
If you're Florida, you taking a look. Like, if you're Vegas, you should be taking a look. By the way, it looks like Peter DeBoer is going to end up in Dallas.
Yeah.
So
just switch them around. Just musical chairs with the coaches. If you get into that cycle of just being one of those coaches, you just bounce around, just take the next one. I think it's really interesting. What would it look like? What would a Barry Trotz management position here look like? Is it like Poyle's, right-hand man kind of thing, and then successor? Is that the idea?
That's the interesting part to me. Is like, I would, like, if you're Barry Trotz, what sort of role do you want to take, and how involved do you want to be? Like, my guess is, like, he'd want to be pretty involved. Like, he's a guy that I think has a lot to give to the game, has a lot to give to whatever organization he would join, whether that be at the head coaching position or in management. So, like, my guess is he probably want to have a pretty prominent role. So what would that be? I mean, he's at this point, obviously, like he's not going to be the general manager next year if he comes back with the Predators, but is he an assistant GM? Is he, just an advisor, and that's kind of like a role that's created for him? Like, I wonder what happens on that front. And to your point, like, are there some assurances moving forward for Barry Trotz that, hey, stick around for a few years, and maybe when David Poyle's done, you're the GM as they move forward? I don't know.
And what would Poyle's role be in that on the front end, and how would he feel about that?
I don't know. It's a great question. I mean, I saw this over the weekend, and I thought back to a question that Chase McCabe asked at David Poyle and John Hines' press conference at the end of the year last year, which was like, basically the question was, are you going to consider bringing in somebody else outside the organization for the front office? And David Poyle was like, yeah, like that's definitely something that we've thought about and that we've talked about. And I don't know if he specifically meant Barry Trotz at that time, but, to me, having Barry Trotz back in the organization would be pretty valuable. Like, I know he's been involved in the coaching part of it for so long, but I mean, when you're around the game, as long as he's been around the game, like, you start to develop an eye for, okay, what are you looking for in a young player?
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be good. You do wonder if, some people are just meant to do things, Yep. And Barry Trotz seems like someone who is so good at developing players, coaching players, getting locker rooms to work collectively. All the art of coaching. Sometimes those skills don't necessarily translate perfectly. By the way, Michael Gallagher, give credit to him, Tuesday, Nashville Post, Nashville Scene, reported that on that day that Barry Trotz bought a $1.5 million house in Nashville.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm looking at that picture. Is that actually the house? That's not the house.
I don't know.
Look at the picture that Michael tweeted.
Location, Jeff.
Hey, man.
Okay, fine, but that's like a tiny little house.
Look, we can get into I love the real estate game of, remember when Matt Duchene bought his house here? Like 3 years before he got here?
Yeah. No, I know. It's what it is,
Joe's face is priceless.
But I'm now blown away by the house here. That's not the house.
Welcome to housing in Nashville.
$1.5 million. It's cute. I'm not, nothing. It's sure it's a fine house, but $1.5 million. Holy cow! So that's in the 12 South area.
Yeah.
Yes. Any sort of real estate stuff does not tie directly to this. Barry Trotz has lived here.
He's going into real estate.
My goodness, that's an amazing. Yeah. By the way, I'm reading Michael's story here. Daniel and Holly Tilden paid $320K for that property in 2013. Good for them.
Yeah, very good for them.
Good for you guys. So you
Congratulations
multiply
to the
that by
family.
5 9 years later, sell it to Barry Trotz. Yeah, Barry Trotz buying a house here doesn't really mean anything when it comes to this job because it's not like he's been detached from here, right? He's had
his family's been here.
He's been rooted here anyway. But hey, it's just like Aaron Rodgers. Did it happen? Is it news? Sure. Didn't work out that Aaron Rodgers is the Titans quarterback.
Not yet.
But maybe this one will work out. Yeah, by the way, he paid, this is interesting, $235,000 over the asking price of $1.265 million. They only wanted $1.265 million for that house. But Trotz said, nope, take $1.5.
Here, let me tell you.
I'm about to be Preds GM in about 3 years, so we're cool.
Oh, man. I wonder. I always wonder with him. He's won the Stanley Cup now with Washington. He's been a great coach. He's a Hall of Fame head coach. Is that itch done with? Like, if Barry Trotz, let's say for sake of argument, he decides, okay, I'm going into management. Does he get a year down the road and think to myself, man, I'd really like to get back out there and coach? Like, he just kind of he strikes me as I am a coach. Like, that's what I do. That he strikes me as that kind of guy. Now, I'm not saying he can't be good at management because I think he could be, but I do wonder. Like, is he fully ready to give up the coaching part of it? And maybe that's what he's going through right now, and why, like, the July 1st part of this is when he wants to make his decision around then.
Well, and if I'm owning a team, I also want to know, do you have the same passion for management, for finding players, for the draft, for all the aspects of that job that you do for coaching? Because if you're going to pay anyone to leave coaching to like get into that, you don't want it to be like your sort of like pseudo vacation into retirement job, you know? It's a very demanding job, very difficult job, for totally different reasons too, Has there ever been in the NHL? I've never heard of anything like coach GM situation like you have in the NFL. I'm sure if you go way back, but
I want to say Lamoriello's done it a time or two.
Yeah,
but I had to go back and double check on that.
It's an old thing. Yeah, that doesn't. Because you could just do that too.
Is he saying he's going to come here?
Oh, maybe he'll be
GM?
coach. Maybe he'll be coaching. I mean, you pay that much for that house. I need 2 jobs.
2 jobs to take care of it.
No, it's going to be fascinating. I mean, shoot. Any team that interviewed him to be a coach would be thrilled to have him as a coach. I know the Detroit Red Wings fans would be giddy about Barry Trotz being their coach. Winnipeg would be going home.
Yeah. Well, from his standpoint too, though, like at this stage of your career, are you signing up for a retool or a rebuild? Like, if are the Red Wings completely in rebuild mode? Kinda. I mean, they've got some young pieces that are starting to come out of it. So maybe you view them as a team on the rise. I don't know, but like, if you're Barry Trotz, are you willing to sit down and say, all right, well, it could take 4 or 5 years with this team to get them to where they're competing for a Stanley Cup? Or do you look at a team like a Vegas and say, okay, maybe that could be something? I don't know. Like, I'd be interested to see what his thought process is there. I will say this, Joe. If this ends up happening and he comes here and is in management, like the first lull the Predators go through next year, let's say they open up in October and they're 2-4 or whatever, the amount of texts we're going to get on this show of, all right, it's time for Trotz to come down from the front office.
You're in there, Trotz.
Get in there.
Oh, you're saying – I thought you were going to say it's time for Trotz to replace Poyle.
No, I'm saying to get down there and coach.
Oh, I see.
All right.
Yeah, get it down to the ice, Trotz. Let's go, man. Yeah. Well, Trotz coming in for that job would be – it's not the same, but it's like it reminds me of a year ago. It was like, as soon as that Titans defense stinks, Jim Schwartz, you better be DC.
Yeah.
Now we got Kelly on the offense, and now we have Trotz in the front office. It's going to be interesting. So basically Trotz and Forsberg both could be part of this organization. Both could be part of other organizations within about a month or so, next few weeks.
It's going to be very, very interesting. We'll take your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Your thoughts on Barry Trotz. Also, what could Bill Haslam's ownership for the Preds potentially mean as this continues to be unpacked here? We'll get into that next. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs,
and I-840,
players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have 2 choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
It's Dell Technologies' biggest business sale of the year with Black Friday early access deals on Windows 11 PCs. Call 877-ASK-DELL. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business.
Hello, Nashville. Looking to save money on your wireless bill? You can when you choose Consumer Cellular. Sign up today and you'll get the exact same coverage as the leading carriers for half the cost. This gives you direct access to the widest, most established cellular networks available. Consumer Cellular offers flexible monthly plans with no contract and simple, affordable service that's perfect for your lifestyle and budget. Featuring a wide variety of top-of-the-line phones from Samsung, Motorola, and Apple, you'll find a phone that's perfect for you. Everything is backed by a 100% risk-free guarantee, plus 100% U.S.-based award-winning customer support. Switch your talk, text, and data plan before July 31st and get $100 on every new line of service. Right-size your plan and downsize your bill with Consumer Cellular. Visit consumercellular.com/Nashville100 and enter code Nashville100 to start saving today.
Hey folks, Joe Rexrode here, inviting you to go yard all June long with $5 Dinger Tuesdays on FanDuel Sportsbook. This season, all customers will get $5 for every home run hit by both teams when you place a $25 two-hit a home run wager on Tuesday MLB games. Best part about Dinger Tuesdays is even if your bet loses, FanDuel will pay you $5 for every single home run. I continue to say stick with the Yankees on this one for your $5 Dinger Tuesdays. Lots of great options. Of course, the Braves, another one as well. What are you waiting for? Pick your home run hitter and turn big swings into big wins. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sportsbook. So just head over to your FanDuel account or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code Joe102. Again, that's promo code Joe102. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Bonus issued is now withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Maximum is $25. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations, Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators. He scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, this is David Price. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode, Governor Bill Haslam, expected to become a majority owner of the Preds sometime in the next few years, in the process of buying a majority stake of the franchise right now that will have him as a minority owner in the immediate future. But long-term, Bill Haslam expected to become majority owner of the Nashville Predators. And obviously, you're talking about a person and a family with some deep pockets. We've talked about Jimmy Haslam and his ownership of the Cleveland Browns. I think a lot of people think that Jimmy Haslam is now buying the Nashville Predators. He is not.
They do, based on Twitter. I'm thinking the same thing.
He is not buying the Nashville Predators. That would be Bill. What do you make of this and what this means for the Predators, more so in the long term? Because honestly, in the short term, I don't think it means all that much. But long term, to me, if I'm a Predators fan, I think this is good news. I think this all but guarantees your team is staying here for the long term. Not that that was really a big question anyway, but
you never know how things are going to go.
You never know how things are going to go. And, it's good to have somebody with local ties as with deep pockets as a part of your ownership group now, and eventually going to become your majority owner. What do you make of what this means for the Predators in the long term?
Yeah. Had some questions on what does this mean for Forsberg? It's it's not like Bill Haslam's coming in dropping another couple mil.
Yeah.
There's a cap and there's it's the exact same situation with Forsberg. But yeah, what if had this interaction with a few people, because I tweeted deep pockets. It's good. I got deeper pockets in the ownership group. Why does that matter? Spending the cap already. Well, what if you go 4 or 5 years in a row? What if you do have that downturn? and you're struggling to fill the place, and you're the business just isn't going as well. This is not the NFL. It's not printing money, TV deals that are so rich that honestly you could be fine with 10 people in your arena and you'd be okay because your TV deal. It's just not that. So now you have that a little bit more security. And like you said, having the billionaire added to the group who is all Tennessee seems to me like a good thing. Not someone who's going to be antsy to go up to Hamilton, Ontario or something, just as a random place to pick. No, I think it's a good thing. My question is, and look, first of all, it's frustration with this. I think Sportico kind of screwed this up with their initial reporting. And frankly, I mean, Greg Wyshynski at ESPN, he wrote it as he's going to be the owner of the Preds.
Right.
That's not true. I mean, it's not the owner, majority owner. And my understanding with this ownership group, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm talking to people last week, this is my understanding, is that whatever your stake is, it's still a collective decision-making process.
Yep.
So now is it possible that I do think that Bill Haslam, when he becomes majority owner, he's probably going to be a lot more willing to be out there than, say, Herb Fritch. So if we get into a situation where it'd be good to hear from ownership, I could see Bill Haslam being okay, being heard from.
I think you'll probably see that.
Yeah. But what about does it become more like a quote like an owner of a team at some point? I mean, it's not supposed to be that way, right?
No, I do wonder when he becomes majority owner. The Predators, for really the entire history of their franchise, they have been a very patient group, regardless of whether it was Craig Leopold with the ownership or whether it's been this new ownership group now. They've been extraordinarily patient. I mean, look, they've had the same general manager the entire time, and they've had 3 coaches in the history of their franchise that has been here almost 25 years. So that doesn't happen in pro sports. I do wonder if, as Haslam comes in, does that continue as they move forward? Obviously, as you said, it's not like he's got, full autonomy,
unilateral power,
making decisions. Right. But I do wonder, as the ownership group starts to shift a little bit, does that approach shift as they move forward? I think regardless, you're getting close to the point where a change at general manager is going to be coming at some point, whether that's next year, 5 years down the road, whenever that is. David Poyle, he's not getting any younger. At some point, you're going to change general managers out. Maybe it's Barry Trotz. We talked about that earlier in the show. Maybe it's Barry Trotz coming in. We'll see what happens on that front. But the Predators have been very patient throughout the history of their franchise when it comes to the people who are in charge. And I do wonder, as ownership shifts a little bit and new blood comes in, does that change as they move forward? I don't know. And you could argue that that's been the right approach from the Predators of being patient has been a good thing. Stability is a good thing for a franchise, and it's largely worked out well. But I just wonder, does that eventually shift? Because rarely in sports do you see a 25-year period where there have been as few changes at the top as there has been with this group.
Yeah. No, I agree. I do. I think back to Tom Cigaran, whose last name I continue to say in different ways, by the way. Tell me the right way to say it.
I say Cigaran.
Cigaran.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone last week called him Cigaran. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, Cigaran. We know who we're talking about, regardless, right?
Somebody called him Cigaran to me. So
really?
Yeah.
That's
now we're really getting out there.
Okay. All right. It's 2 G's.
I'm just telling you.
He was when he was chairman, he was I thought, outspoken at times, could be I guess perceived as aggressive, at least in some ways, right? Kind of conducted himself like a traditional owner.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, still they've done things a certain way. How much I don't know, how much wiggle room is there for it to shift and look different and be more focused around one person? I mean, Herb Fritch, it seems like, was very much not interested in being out front or, right? I mean, Like Willie Donner was talking about this last week. And he seats in the he sits in the stands with people. He's a guy who got in there and has obviously had a big financial stake. And I think this reads as a move on his part also to help stabilize things down the road, right? It's a move to like what's good for the franchise long term. Here you go. Yeah, but at some point it'd be very interesting to hear from Bill Haslam like how he views that process unfolding.
It's kind of an interesting spot for NHL ownership right now too. I think the Penguins just got an ownership group. I want to say last year. I think they got a new ownership group. You have Haslam coming in with the Preds now. I think Ottawa's going to be up for sale pretty soon. I mean, it's an interesting time because, Gary Bettman in the National Hockey League has been talking about, the new ESPN deal, all these things of, getting in now. You could see some pretty good growth from the NHL moving forward. Like, part of this from Haslam's point of view is, well, get in now, and what could this be worth? What kind of investment could this be for yourself in the next 5-10 years? Because I think the numbers are pointing to the NHL is growing, which I'm interested to see how this affects, future owners, because there are some decisions coming up for some NHL teams that way.
Yeah, the big picture on someone like Bill Haslam getting into this is that, it kind of looks good for the league.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an indication of of that growth or that perceived growth. Yeah, that's right. Second team to have primary owner change. Yeah, Fenway Sports Group bought the Penguins. Look at so Sean Shapiro, for us, we did this little quick thing, and he wrote at The Athletic, quote, Haslam's interest is a good indicator that the uber rich are buying what the NHL has been trying to sell. Buying into it right now will net the best possible return on investment. So that's a good, very good thing. You consider where things have been, at different points in the past, and even just coming out of the pandemic and everything.
JD on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, "Let's just hope Bill has more sense than Jimmy." This is coming from JD on the text line. A lot of talk about Jimmy.
A lot of that going around. Yeah. The thing about Jimmy Haslam and the Browns, I would say it's funny because before the most recent big move they made, I would say, actually. Like they've kind of figured some things out. They actually have put together a good team. They've, Hugh Jackson moved on from, they've gotten to a good point. And then, of course, the latest big move they made does not look great. There is no doubt about that. I still would love I'd love the truth serum, alternative reality of how many other teams would have done exactly that. They're probably not alone, but I don't think everybody would.
We'll take your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. What do you make of Bill Haslam joining the Preds ownership group? We'll also get to some thoughts on Philip Forsberg coming up next as well. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. An air quality alert in effect throughout the entire day. If you have respiratory issues or are very active outdoors, limit your time outside. No humidity, but highs in the low 90s throughout the afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, it's Jared from my friends at Hiller. There's no better time to upgrade your essential home systems than this month at Hiller. Hiller is offering 0 interest for 60 months on select new HVAC systems, 0 interest for 12 months on new tankless water heaters, and 0 interest for 12 months on new whole home generators. If you know you need a new system for your home, do it this month. These financing offers are available for a limited time only. You stay comfortable and cool all summer and handle the payments later. Visit happyhiller.com for all the details. As always, happy you'll be here. The service is free. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Nashville.
Nashville, we are the Good Brothers. I'm the big LG Doc Gallows. He's the machine gun Carl Anderson. The best tag team this planet has ever seen. On June the 20th, Impact Wrestling comes to the Nashville Fairgrounds for the first time in over 3 years for 2 television tapings that'll be broadcast on Access TV.
It's going to be a magic killer and just too
Go to ImpactWrestling.com for more details and to purchase your tickets while they last.
This is Impact Wrestling.
We will see you in Nashville.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Welcome to Allstate, where saving on your auto insurance is kind of like a joyride. You, your car, and an open Tennessee road. Maybe your best friend, too. The music is chill, and so is the traffic. You and your friend both look over at each other, and then he puts his head back out the window. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Allstate and affiliates offer products and services subject to availability, terms, and conditions.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good. Really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless. Now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Darren McFarland.
That's the most personality I think I've heard.
Willie Donick.
Give me credit. I said it.
Chase McCabe.
I still talk to people outside of this building.
The DDC. Weekdays from 10 to 2.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic, intern Hanley here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. JD texting back in says, the Browns still suck, going back to Haslam's ownership of the Browns.
Well, I can't argue. They had a little run. Playoffs, yeah. Crushed the Steelers.
They did win a playoff game.
Sorry, Steelers fan.
Yeah,
but they're a problem. They're problematic right now. A lot of ways.
Right now, it's not great for the Cleveland Browns. But again,
different person.
Bill Haslam is buying the team, not Jimmy Haslam. Yes, they are related.
They are. This is true. It does not. I'm sure we could find other examples, plenty of examples of like siblings, and sports where one's really good and one's not as good. Anything come to mind?
Giannis is playing the game.
Wait, Giannis?
Giannis got like 2 brothers in the league.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And they both have championships.
Yeah. They just are not quite the same level of player.
How do I not know this?
I don't know. But that kind of goes right into what we're talking about.
Really exposes my lack. Thanasis and Costas.
Yeah.
And Alex and Francis? My goodness. Okay. Now, Costas and Alex are the 2 guys.
Yeah.
Oh, the older brothers are Francis and Thanasis.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
The other mellow brother. The third one.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the balls. Yeah. Like the middle child, basically, right?
Bring me more LeVar.
The middle child's not especially good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other 2 are very good. That's a good point. See, plenty of examples. I don't know if there's examples like in coaching, ownership. I mean, like the Ryans, for example. Rex. I don't know. I guess they've all had levels of like success and failure and all that, ups and downs.
The Gretzky brothers.
Okay, there you go.
That was a good one.
That's good. Yeah.
Shout out to Wayne.
And then there's also the father-son thing. We were talking like the best father-son sports combos. I don't know why we were talking about this with a few friends the other day. And one of them was like James and Michael Jordan, just because, like in sports. Just because, in other words, Michael Jordan was so good, it's like him and his dad. But, you've got like Michael Jordan, his kid Jeffrey was like kind of got a couple minutes at Illinois here and there. I mean, what's Bronny going to be? Is Bronny going to be really good?
It could be.
But he's not going to be.
He's not going to be LeBron James, I don't think.
I think he's a good prospect. Could be a decent player. Maybe will be an NBA player. I don't know.
Well, he might be an NBA player just so
somebody
can get his dad.
Right. They just put him on. Yeah, just put him on the team. So LeBron will. I mean, gosh, LeBron is getting up there. But anyway, yes, Bill and Jim Haslam, different people. And then there's Big Jim, and then there's Jimmy, and there's Bill.
Yes. Yes, there is. 615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Brandon from Spring Hill texting in says, the Subban brothers. Malcolm?
Yeah.
PK?
There you go.
Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Malcolm's become a decent, gotten better.
Yeah.
PK says he still wants to play, by the way.
Yeah, apparently so. I got a text that says, Amber Heard and Whitney Heard, sisters. Amber is blindingly beautiful. Whitney is not, to put it mildly. I don't know how we got on that, but yeah. Amber Heard been in the news a lot lately.
Man, that's rough.
615-737-1025.
That's something I just completely I can't care at all.
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah. Can't do it, man. Can't do it.
Joey, a report over the weekend from Chris Johnston from TSN saying that the Predators and Philip Forsberg are still talking, but both sides are dug in at this point, and there hasn't been much progress at this point in recent conversations with the Predators and with Philip Forsberg. Today is June 20th. Free agency begins on July 13th coming up in the National Hockey League. So not very long from now, free agency beginning for the Predators. I know you and Jared talked about this a little bit last week as well. He seems to think it's 100% that Philip Forsberg is coming back.
It's over.
And will be a member of the Nashville Predators. 100% is quite the bold take, but I guess if he ends up signing, then we'll hear all about that.
Indeed.
But what do you make
It was always 100. Right. It was never a question.
What do you make of that report from Chris Johnston from TSN that not a whole lot of progress of late between the Predators and Philip Forsberg?
Well, I guess you could kind of look at that report and say no duh, because if there was anything other than that, then they'd get the deal done. Seems like people are just sort of hanging tight right now, probably until it gets close to the deadline. So I don't know that it's – I don't know. My question, and sometimes on reports like that, is this, basically, like is Forsberg's agent getting frustrated to the point of like, okay, I'm going to put something out there so there's a report about how there's no progress. Agents, as we should all know, use the media quite a bit.
Yes, they do.
And some media people, and I'm not talking about Johnson, but some media people in pro sports allow themselves to be used quite extensively.
They do.
So I don't know. I don't know that it's some big, huge red flag or anything. It's going to come down to probably pretty close. We're at the point now where it's like in the last few days, that's when I expect something to happen, good or bad. Maybe they just don't get there. But I'm hanging at 54-46. I don't know where you are, but I think he's going to end up signing here. But I also feel like I just have an open mind on him having an open mind and being torn and going through everything. Yes, there's a certain, like you have to hit this on the contract. And you have to think, if you're him, about the financial implications of going somewhere else where you're going to end up with less money in your pocket. But I do believe that the question of where things are going here, this is where Jared and I really differed, is he's like, pro ad, they just care about just get paid and all that stuff. I'm like, no, I don't think people like to be miserable and like to be losing and like to be in like some pseudo rebuild or whatever. I think players like to win.
Yeah.
If you're a competitor at this level to get to be a professional athlete, you care about winning. You want to be in a good place, a place where there's other good players and you have a chance to be competitive in your league. If you don't think you're going to be, that is a factor. It is not, maybe for some people it is, purely about what's the bottom line, how much can you make, but how many people who are athletes at this level don't care at all about winning?
It's hard to get there if you don't care at all about winning. I'm not saying it never happens, but it's hard to get there.
I mean, a lot of it is, you're trying to maximize yourself.
Sure.
And it's all this, and of course you want to get as much as you can get, take care of your family, all these things. Those are all factors, of course. But I don't think anyone likes a bad work environment, and losing is a bad work environment.
I like the word you avoided
there. It's a losing bad work environment.
Very nicely done. I will say this, and I don't think this is some big surprise or anything, but Forsberg's not exactly trying to hide out there. I mean, he was on the stage at CMA Fest. He was at the Nashville SC game yesterday with George Kittle. Like, he's around. Like, he's not exactly trying to hide the fact that he is here right now. And, I understand that his life has changed a little bit over the last couple of years with his fiance, and her family's from Georgia, and they hang out here over the summer a lot more than he used to. He used to just go back to Sweden. But, I mean, he's here for a reason right now, I think. So I still believe that he wants to get a deal done. He wants it to be here. But as Chris Johnston pointed out, it just kind of seems like both sides are dug in at this point. And, maybe we'll see some progress July 11th, July 10th, somewhere around that area. Like, you're getting close to the point at that point where if you're David Poile, you either got to step over the line or you got to present your absolute best offer, whatever that is. And my guess is that just hasn't happened as of yet.
I mean, if you're David Poile at this point, it's gotten to here.
What's the difference between riding out now to July 10th?
Maybe the idea is if you appear to be dug in or whatever, you go all the way to the end. I don't know. Can that minimize the blow a little bit? Is there any way to get the other side to think, okay, really, you want to be here? I mean, if you're Poile, you're going to end up having to give a worse contract than you would have before.
Yep.
Right. I mean, I don't see how logically that would not be true. So, I guess at this point, take it to the brink. But I'm 54. What are you?
52.
Oh, okay. So I'm ahead of you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm not at 100.
So the 48 no in your mind is,
it's 3 weeks away and there's no deal done yet. And look, I mean, we see this happen all the time. I think a player wants to be somewhere, and then you get close to free agency, and you're just like, well, gotten this far, why not just see what the options look like? Like, I still think if you force me to choose right now, I think he ends up signing an 8-year deal with the Predators. That's how I see this story ending. But I mean, the closer you get to free agency, I think there's a chance that he ends up on the market. And if he ends up on the market, all bets are off at that point. Like, I still go back to what we talked about earlier of, if he gets to the market, he's not coming back. Like, why would you go all this time and then lose your 8-year deal?
Yeah, you're giving up a year of guaranteed a lot of money here.
Yeah.
So you're going out there to get a 7-year deal. And someone will pay you more per AAV than the Preds will.
Real quickly, Brett in Hermitage on the text line says, Since you're pontificating, what if Trotz is mulling an opportunity to be a part of the ownership group? Who would be better to be the face and spokesperson for the group? Maybe the chairman or governor. I think that's more likely than him taking a management role instead of going to coach somewhere else. It's coming from Brett in Hermitage.
Do you have that kind of money?
I mean,
he just spent a bunch of money on a cute little house for $1.5 million. I mean,
maybe he does.
I mean, it's a nice
2,200 square feet, man.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah. How many square feet is that thing?
2,200.
Okay. Okay. It doesn't look that big. Is that one of those things where it's like a lake house, or it's like a tiny little front, but then in the back it just explodes?
It's expansive.
There's a house right next door. It's like 2 feet from it.
I don't know.
My goodness.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's positioning himself to be in the ownership group.
Anything's possible. I don't know. He may need to make a few more bucks in coaching or / GMing to get into an ownership group. I could be wrong. What's his net worth? I'll try to find out his net worth.
We'll find out closer to July 1st, apparently, when Barry Trotz makes that decision. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get into the Titans What do you think about the idea of potentially giving Jeffrey Simmons and or Derrick Henry a new contract? We'll take your thoughts. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. That's coming up next. You can make every day a good old day with the hand-cranked taste of Blue Bell ice cream. It is going to be hot this week, and the sun is going to be shining all week long. Nothing goes better with that than the good old day taste of Blue Bell ice cream. The good old days are being made right now. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You watch The Game. We talk The Game.
You can't just pick up one guy and be competitive in the playoffs.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Spring is in the air, and that means all kinds of fun in the sun is just around the corner. But if you're feeling low energy, if you've put on weight and just aren't getting the gains from your workouts, if you aren't sleeping well and your libido isn't what it used to be, maybe you aren't looking forward so much to sunny days and shirtless weather. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if this sounds like you, we might very well have the answer, because you may very well be suffering from low testosterone. And that, my friend, is something that can be effectively treated to get you back to the guy you used to be. The Tennessee Men's Clinic has treated thousands of men for low T. Our treatment programs are highly effective, with most men seeing results in just a few weeks. Assuming you're like most guys, you'll sleep better, have better workouts, have higher energy, and your sex life might just improve as well. So give us a call. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090. Or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
We're saluting 4 more of our teammates at Cromwell Media this month. Cindy Johns in sales has been here 20 years. Lakin King, who handles all our commercial logs, is enjoying 13 years. Operations Manager Ace Swartz is toasting 12 years with us. And Chase McCabe, Program Director for our Sports Talk stations, chalks up 10 years. That's 55 years of combined experience with our company. There's a reason for that tenure. We value our employees and do our very best to create a great work experience. Check us out at together@cromwellmedia.com.
Hey Nashville, it's Chase McCabe, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have 2 choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and start getting cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's promo code ESPN. Remember, use promo code ESPN for a $5 bonus on your first tank of gas.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
NASCAR is back. Kyle Larson returns to Nashville Speedway a winner.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game 7.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun.
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Hour number 2, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezvik, intern Hanley here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Lots of people reacting to the sports brothers or sisters or family members that have been thrown out there.
Okay.
Jeff from Cottontown texting in says the Watt brothers and the Griffeys as well.
Okay, I'm glad you brought up the Griffeys. So Brennan yesterday showed me a clip with Ken Griffey Jr. catching a fly ball from his dad. I'm like, they didn't play at the same time. They actually crossed paths in MLB.
I'm pretty sure they played together.
Man, I am like today as a great example of my lack of sports knowledge. Really?
I think so.
I totally thought that Ken Griffey Sr. retired in like 1986 and then Griffey was like a rookie in 89. Okay, apparently not. But that's a good father-son. Well, if you want to talk about best all-time combo, like the Bonds, Bobby and Barry, and the Griffeys, Ken and Ken Jr.
Yeah, they played 90-91 together.
Gosh, okay, cool.
And of course, Joe Rexrode and Brendan Rexrode in our rec basketball league.
Yeah. Next great father-son duo.
Well, I tried, Tried to turn him into a great basketball player like me. It's hard. It's hard. It's a big shadow, that looms over you. What are you supposed to do? Yeah,
Bobby and Brett Hall on the text line coming from John Whitehouse, father-son duo.
We talked about this. We had this big conversation. Like this was like totally like sports bar conversation this weekend. And yes, the Halls for sure. I mean, I even threw out, hey, Mark Howe wasn't terrible. So just because his dad was Gordie Howe, like Gordie and Mark Howe, there you go. But Bobby and Brett Hall is a pretty good one, man. That's because Bobby was a great player, but obviously Brett Hall, one of the great goal scorers in league history. Yeah, that's tough to beat. Griffey's really good too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, both of them. So they hit back-to-back home runs at Griffey's. Okay, great. I just completely blanked out on that era.
And Giannis has brothers in the NBA. There you go.
Yeah, keep telling me other sports information I have no clue about. Someone's just laughing at me on the text line. I don't know why, but it's there's plenty of possible reasons. So
615-737-1025. So obviously you guys discussed the Jeffrey Simmons stuff pretty heavily last week in terms of him looking for a new contract. As TD pointed out, I believe on Friday, looks like he's hired some representation. So it looks like Jeffrey Simmons has some representation.
He does have an agent.
Heading into contract negotiations with the Titans. I went back and listened to the interview with Joel Corey that y'all did on Friday, which, first off, really good interview. Thought he did a really good job of kind of explaining and laying it out there for Titans fans. My question to you, Joe Rexrode, is if you're the Titans, how much interest do you have in signing Jeffrey Simmons to a new contract right now? Obviously, you want him to be a part of your future. You want him to be a member of your team for a long time. He's very valuable to your defense. He does still have 2 years left on his contract, and technically, if you wanted to go all hardball with the situation, he could be under your control for the next 3 seasons. So how much of a priority, if you're John Robinson and the Titans, would you make Jeffrey Simmons at this moment today? Because Joe Corey made it seem like he's one of those guys that you just need to go ahead and get a contract done.
Yeah, I think I'd make it a high priority. And even though it may be a departure from what you normally do, well, Jeffrey Simmons is a departure from who you normally have on your football team, right? And I've seen some people on the text line last week were like, the Titans stuck their necks out for him when, in the draft. So, okay, great. Why does that matter now? What is he? What has he become? Has he been a hint of an issue off the field since he's been here? No. Has he been great on it? He's growing into, I think last year he grew into what you could call a great player. So to me, it just makes sense to look, the Titans, under John Robinson, for the most part, first-round picks have not been staying here. In most cases, it made sense. And I could have made the case to try to, I think they wanted to keep Conklin to a certain point, but I could have made the case to go farther to keep him. But for the most part, it's all understandable, even with Corey Davis after the really good year he had. But this is one you need to keep. You need to keep, over a long period of time, you need to have some first-round picks who get second deals with you, and this is the one to do. And this is the one to do now. And I think that if you do it now, and I don't know exactly what he's looking for or how far apart they are or anything like that, but if you get it done now, then you give him that security, which I think is understandable. He would want it. And also, deal might look all right on the back end, the way things are going, the way the cap may be going, To get it locked up now could be a pretty good-looking deal, just like which happens a lot in this league at positions other than running back,
Yeah.
Where you sign someone and all of a sudden 2-3 years down the road, you're like, wow, that's a bargain of a deal. We used to think that about Ryan Tannehill, by the way, not too long ago.
We did. Well, it's one of those things where, like, I totally understand from Simmons' standpoint. Like, it's pretty clear the reasons why he should want a new contract. He's outperformed the deal he's on right now. I mean, if he even approaches what he did last year over the next couple of years, he's going to be way underpaid. So I don't think there's any question about that. I will say, like, if you're the Titans, I wonder if part of them's looking around and saying, well, yeah, oh, that's great, but this is how the system is set up, and we've got 2 years of Jeffrey Simmons for this price. Why would we not want to take advantage of that and try to create a team around Jeffrey Simmons where you can win right now and not create a cap hit that is detrimental towards doing that and bringing other pieces in? Like, that balance for John Robinson, we talk about this with quarterbacks a lot, of winning under the rookie deal. Like, it's not the same thing here because it's not the quarterback, and he's not going to be making, $45 million a season or anything like that. But I do wonder, like, if you're John Robinson, I agree. I think this is a different situation. But how hard is that balance if you're a general manager of, I understand all that, but right now his price is what it is, and that's the way things are set up. And if we keep it that way, it's easier to bring in other players to help us win right now if you're J-Rob.
Yeah, well, that's also something that could, in theory, hurt you in free agency. I mean, people are like, oh, yeah, that you don't necessarily want to go there. That GM is a low baller. He wouldn't even pay Jeffrey Simmons when it was obvious he needed to be paid. Now, how much is that actually, when you talk about free agency, does the team come with, like, a legit offer for you in free agency? And you may be like, okay, great. Well, he's paying me, so I'm coming. You know, I don't know if it really has that. But you do get reputation as a GM, as GMs. They get reps with players. I don't think, look, I don't think Jeffrey Simmons would be very happy about it. And I'm sure he'd be a pro and he'd go out and play on his contract. But work environment can also be, can be dictated. I think a lot of these guys on this team were shaken and not happy when A.J. Brown was moved. You don't want to keep having these issues with players who are disgruntled, right? Like, you choose good players, and they become great players or maybe on the cusp of being great players. You should reward them. You should, and I understand the A.J. Brown thing is totally different, and I don't think this will get to that. But I think at times you need to, like, think big picture and show people, if you do this and ABC, we're going to reward you. If you're Jeffrey Simmons playing at $4 million this year, that's tough. That's you're putting yourself on the line. One helmet to the knee, and that's that could be it for you. So he could play hardball. I just don't think he will. I don't think he should, and I don't think he will.
615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. If you're John Robinson, are you making Jeffrey Simmons' contract a priority right now, or are you waiting for Jeffrey Simmons maybe a year or two down the road? 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs,
and I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Where will you be for the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway? The Tootsie's Infield Club will be the coolest spot in the house before and during the race. With the shaded seating, cold drinks, and live music, it's just like Broadway at the Speedway. You'll be close to the bar, the bathroom, and all the action in Turn 4. How do you get in? Add a fan walk or pre-race track access pass to your Ally 400 ticket purchase, and we'll see you at the Tootsie's Infield Club.
With your home value up again, you are sitting on a pile of money. So don't let it sit there. Use it. Willie Donick here for my friends once again at Loan Pronto. Introducing Loan Pronto's Equity Line of Credit program. You don't have to refinance, but you can access up to 97% of your home's value. Get cash now to pay off all your credit cards or do that home improvement project. Get your down payment for a new home or stash away for a safety net. You can get $50,000, even $100,000 or more out of your home. And the payments are crazy low. Think what you could do with $100,000 right now. Loan Pronto makes unlocking your equity easy, and they can probably even waive the appraisal. Don't just let all that home equity pile up. Turn your house into an ATM machine and get the cash you need. Call Loan Pronto now, 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Upgrade her diamond ring this summer with no money down and 0 interest for 5 years. Yes! This killer offer has been extended through July 2nd. Our most aggressive offer of the year continues, but won't be extended again. It's not just on engagement rings. It's earrings, bracelets, bands, colored gemstone jewelry. Buy now, pay nothing down, and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. So that $5,000 eternity band comes out to just $85 a month. One-of-a-kind designer jewelry is also included in this amazing offer. Now through July 2nd at Genesis Diamonds. Open this Sunday. Green Hills and Cool Springs. Approved credit.
Hey, Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have 2 choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Well, you've got the whole world listening. What do you got to say? Never miss a moment of the show. Subscribe to the Robby and Rexrode podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game studio on this Monday morning. I got some tickets to give away to see Steely Dan coming up at Ascend Amphitheater on July 13th.
Oh, boy.
615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Caller number 3 will win a pair of tickets to see Steely Dan coming up at Ascend Amphitheater on July 13th.
You will see me. You will see me that night, too.
Rexrode is leaving the station as we speak and dialing on his burner phone.
Steely Dan's going to see me that night. I actually rounded up like a whole bunch of people who claimed to me this weekend they're going to go with me to Steely Dan. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Including Katie. And now, like Katie said Saturday she'll go, and then yesterday she's like, I'm not going to Steely Dan with you. Like, well, you said yesterday you're going to go with me. So, but I'll be there.
I have no idea who it is.
Steely Dan. I bet you if we played like we
their
could
top
probably
5 on Spotify.
We could probably play 10 of their songs and you'd be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I mean, easily 5, but I bet you we could get to 10. Maybe 7.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
Right?
Yeah,
something like that. I can
picture you having a good time there, though.
Oh, heck yeah, man! I've seen Steely Dan before. Don't worry, and I'll see them again. They rock. Although, rest in peace, Walter Becker.
615-737-1025. Ron on the text line says, good morning, guys. Simmons is on a rocket ship getting ready to take off into space. You jump on board now and sign him to a new contract before he becomes more expensive because, believe me, if we wait, he'll be worth more than Aaron Donald in the near future.
Pump the brakes a little, Ron. Pump the brakes a little.
I hope he's going to be worth more than Aaron Donald.
But I would agree in general with the sentiment, though. Now, look, if you don't pay him this year, he plays on year 4, and he has, I don't know, like 12 sacks or something. I mean, that ups the price. The thing is, Jeffrey Simmons, his value often is not statistically captured unless unless PFF's doing a really good job of grading that day.
But sometimes they do.
But sometimes they're a little bit too, caught up in David Quessenberry's blocking.
Or they're watching
to totally give
Clowney's
Simmons
film in Cleveland. Yeah.
Yes, he is a PFF darling. So, I mean, look, I don't know how many years, like, how much better is Jeffrey Simmons going to get from what he was last year? I don't know. But he's really good. He looked like he was in pretty good shape last week. If he's a little bit more agile, a little bit more quickness, pass rush, which, goes into also, it does increase your value. It does. Even though a player like him, to me, could have a 3-sack season and be the best DT in the league. I mean, Aaron Donald does also actually get the quarterback to the ground.
He does.
And Jeffrey Simmons did that more last year too. So ultimately, as long as he stays healthy, I think he's right now in this window where he could be right there. Donald, then maybe a little gap, then Simmons, and then there's some other great players, interior players too in this league, but he could be right there. So I think it's worth paying him right now.
Ron texts back in and says, talking about Joe's case that he made of Jeffrey Simmons being a good teammate, says, if that's the case, Joe, then Jarrell Casey should have got something long before or for being a good teammate as well, along with Kevin Byard as well. No, Kevin Byard did get a contract.
Kevin Byard got paid.
Yeah.
I mean, Jarrell, if you're talking about Jarrell, well, first of all, Jarrell Casey did get rewarded. I mean, he had Jarrell Casey. I'll go back and look at his contract history, but John Robinson paid him, gave him a deal, and then they cut him. When they got out a year ahead, and they didn't cut him, they moved him. They got out a year ahead of things, and that certainly could happen on the tail end of this deal that Simmons gets too. I mean, that's the NFL. But that's why for Jeffrey Simmons, right now, what it's about is getting that security, and it's about getting the $25 or $30 million guaranteed that you now have. Like, okay, now you've got that in your pocket, as opposed to you're playing for 4 this year, and then you've got that sense of security and achievement, and you can go and look. You try to play out your contract, whatever it is. What would it be? 20. I put out there last week, like in the Athletic, I put out there like 4 years, 85, 25 guaranteed. You could still play out your whole deal and get paid on your whole deal, like Derrick Henry's about to do with the Titans.
Yep.
But it's about getting that guaranteed money. Then a lot of these deals in the NFL don't end up. Obviously, the players don't play the whole deal; they get moved before that. Roger Saffold, cap casualty, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you notice the Joel Corey question of the interview? It was like, let's lay this out here.
It's the cap reel.
Again, it's like if you're saying it's completely not real, then you're saying that no team ever makes a decision about a player because they're trying to stay under the cap, which is ridiculous.
I would pay Jeffrey Simmons too. I would do it now. I mean, obviously, there's a risk involved with it both ways. Like, if you don't pay him now and he goes out and plays really well again this year, the only thing you're doing is the price is going up. That's the only thing that's happening at this point. I do think there are players that come along that you take different approaches with, and I think Jeffrey Simmons is one of those players of sometimes the traditional way of doing things of, picking up the 5th-year option and waiting until after the 4th year maybe to negotiate a new deal. Sometimes you do different things. Like, and I'm not comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, but it was pretty clear pretty early with Patrick Mahomes that he's going to need a new deal, and Kansas City did not hesitate to make that happen. I'm not saying Jeffrey Simmons is and you pay him and you reward him. And I think from that standpoint, Jeffrey Simmons is different. I also think to what you said earlier, there is something to it of you did just lose A.J. Brown, and whether you think if you're a Titans fan it's the right move or not. Like certainly if you're a player in that locker room, you're thinking, my goodness, we just lost A.J. Brown. He's gone and he's making $100 million with the Eagles. And that could end up being a bad contract for the Eagles. It could end up looking pretty good for the Eagles here pretty quickly as well. Like you don't want to get labeled if you're the Titans as, okay, if we play really well here, they're not going to pay us. We're going to have to go get that money somewhere else. Like that's not the entire reason that I'm making this decision if I'm John Robinson. But I think Jeffrey Simmons is good enough. I think he's a special enough player where you take a different approach with guys like that. I mean, they basically did the same thing with Taylor Lewan as well. I think you do it with Jeffrey Simmons.
That's true, yeah. Right, exactly. I mean, you got to have some. I mean, you got to have some pillars. You know, you've got to have some guys who are just worth paying. And look, for all the cap is real talk, I mean, it is very stretchable. We can agree on that, right? You can figure a way to make it work out. You know it's going to go up. Again, this deal could look pretty good and could be comfortably fitting in with your entire picture. And the A.J. Brown thing does make it easier to do. So I think it'll happen. The Derrick Henry one is interesting because I think Corey's viewpoint on that would be like 90. You know, if you took like all the agents in the league or front office people in the league and everything, I bet you'd be like high 90s. It would be like, well, no, I'm not doing it. Why would you do anything? I do think that even more than Simmons probably, there is probably a little bit of a, gosh, you really want to make one of your star employees feel good. How do you do that? Because Derrick Henry, the way he answered that question last week, and I don't even remember who asked him the question. Maybe Michelle remembers. I don't know, but
it was Jared.
It was Jared. It was kind of that was yeah. The way he answered that question to me was very much yes.
Yeah.
I would very much like some, you know, of course he did wouldn't you like a promotion at your job? Yeah, it'd be great. But I don't know. That one's, to me, the Simmons thing has to be priority one and everything. Henry, it's just sort of like, it would have to be a small thing. I wouldn't extend him, you know?
No, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's got 2 years left on his deal, and he'll be 30 and is a running back. Like, there's...
Right, like, that's why most
guys, you're not even having this conversation.
Yeah, most of the league is, like, forget about it. But not only because of what he is as a guy in your organization, on your team, in the locker room, to the fans. I mean, how much has Derrick Henry meant in terms of fandom to them? But also, you're about to just absolutely batter that guy again this year. Again, it's the league. You know, he paid his deal. He's going to get paid for it, but maybe to at least guarantee more of it, give him a bonus, something like that. Little bump, little bonus, little guarantee.
Take Vrabel's parking spot for the year.
Yeah, there you go. That's a thought. Does Vrabel have like the suite? Like where is his spot? I don't know. I would assume it'd be a pretty good spot. Well, they also give like the sweet spot to the off-season champion or whatever, right? So just make that permanently. But that's the thing. How could you be, the off-season champion if you're Derrick Henry and you do it independently? Can you win that?
Probably not, but, I mean, he's running up the hill, man. I've seen the videos. He'd be my off-season champion.
Actually, now that really is interesting to me. Has he won that before?
I don't know.
If not, then you're just ineligible because you're doing your own thing, I guess.
I guess so.
But yeah, it's like it's something. It is like that though. It's like a gesture of goodwill and a little bit more security, and probably leave it at that. That's going to be interesting. And if they don't do it, he's going to show up and play football.
Yeah.
But that one's an interesting one. Most people would look at John Robinson and say, well, no, you don't even think about it. But he's different. He is a little bit different, right?
Mike on the text line says, is Chevy Chase playing drums for Steely Dan at this concert?
That's a great question. He was their original drummer at Bard College in 1971.
Really is
great
amazing.
Fun fact there. Thank you, Mike.
He referred to it as Bad Jazz Band.
Dude, come on. Wait, who said that?
Who said what?
Who said bad jazz band?
That's apparently what Chevy Chase used to refer to it as.
Oh.
Bad jazz band.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right? Oh, okay. All right. That's weird because we talked about Chevy Chase last week in a Paul Simon video. Real quick, Dan from Clarksville, Serena and Venus Williams, obviously.
Yep.
That's, clearly. I mean, of all time, like, related people in sports,
Pretty good.
Yeah. Tough to top that one.
We'll continue to take your thoughts. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, we'll get Joe's thoughts on the state of the Titans now that minicamp is done. Training camp coming up here in just a few weeks. 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Want the latest on the Predators from the people that cover them?
Heck of a year so far for the Predators. They've been so much fun to watch.
Join Robby Stanley for Preds Insiders every Monday at 6.
I feel probably as good about this group of 6 on D.
Presented by Dr. Kelly Rice on Smashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Tough jobs need tough equipment. For equipment that gets the job done right, elite certified service, and genuine Kubota parts, choose Coleman Tractor Company, Tennessee's largest full-line Kubota dealer. Get hay season done right with the Kubota M7 tractor. User-friendly controls, all-day comfort, powerful versatility. Lease the Kubota M7 for as low as $13,200 annually, now through June 13th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information. Visit Coleman Tractor Company, your local Kubota dealer in Clarksville, Nashville, Paris, and White House today.
Are you just riding through life, living, but not really living? If that sounds like you need to treat yourself to Cartronics, Nashville's premier one-stop shop for vehicle customization since 1982. Their team of install techs provide a 5-star experience from start to finish, ensuring your vehicle is the coolest ride on the block. From cars and trucks to boats, motorcycles, golf carts, and off-road vehicles, Cartronics specializes in personalizing your automotive experience. So visit their website at cartronics.audio and start living today.
The body is a machine by itself. Given the right ingredients, during the right situation, some things can be healed naturally.
Football legend Emmitt Smith learned that pain pills and surgeries are only Band-Aids for chronic joint pain. A smarter, longer-lasting solution? Natural biologic treatments from QC Kinetics.
With QC Kinetics, it's that way. It's that natural process of allowing my body to actually heal itself.
With no downtime and no drugs, QC Kinetics regenerative pain treatments can repair and restore damaged tissue, bringing lasting pain relief in your knees, shoulders, hips, and lower back.
What I like about working with QC Kinetics is the natural aspect of it. The body has a way of reconnecting itself and re-healing itself.
Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
If you tried it other ways, there's a new method.
Call QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
Hey, Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have 2 choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
I love my Charmin Super Mega Golden Rose, yeah. Gold last long, it's TP Gold, yeah. Charmin's got 6 rows in 1, lasts forever on my buns. Only Super Mega when I'm cleaning. Charmin's got my booty believing.
Charmin Super Mega Roll is 6 regular rolls in 1. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt head coach Jerry Stackhouse. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 1025 The Game.
While the music played, you walk by candlelight.
ESPN 1025, 1063 The Game is Nashville's home for NASCAR. Tune in Friday through Sunday for the following races at the Nashville Super Speedway. Friday, the Rackley Roofing 200 at 6:30. Saturday, the Tennessee Lottery 250 at 2 o'clock. And on Sunday, the Ally 400 at 3 o'clock. Also, join Chase McCabe every Sunday morning for at 8 o'clock for Chasing Checkers as he talks to the drivers and gets you set for the racing weekend. NASCAR on ESPN 1025, 1063 The Game is presented by the Backyard Blues Pools, Tootsie's Infield Club, Nashville Super Speedway, and the Nashville's Fairgrounds Speedway as well. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, 1063 The Game. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. We'll have the Rex Rant with Joe Rexrode coming up at 7:45. So, Joe, here we sit. Minicamp for the Titans is in the rearview mirror. Training camp just a few weeks away at this point. What are your thoughts on the state of the Tennessee Titans now that minicamp is done and training camp is right around the corner? What sort of a group do you think they have? What stands out to you about this team now that minicamp is behind the team?
Well, I think they're good. I think they are probably going to step back. I feel pretty good about, well, not good for them, but I feel pretty confident that they're going to take a step back to some extent offensively. They do have a chance to exceed expectations offensively, which they did not have a chance really to do a year ago. So, you know, that's the look at the bright side. That's the sunshiny spin it your way view, is like, hey, you know, if the Titans are good, then they'll actually, offensively I'm saying, then they'll actually impress people. And last year it was impossible expectations on it. But you'd still rather have a team on paper that looks ridiculous and have impossible expectations to try to live up to than hope this, and this work out, and you're pretty good on offense. I mean, I think that's where all the concern is the offensive side of the ball, the receivers, the offensive line. I put the offensive line first in terms of concerns. There are possible answers there. So the fact that you have 4 players competing for that 40% of the offensive line that's completely unsettled right now could be good. They could lift each other and all that, but you could end up with 2 non-starting quality players at those 2 spots. And what does that mean? How much does that drag down Taylor Lewan or Nate Davis? You know, I think that's the number one concern. And then receiver is a concern, obviously, too. I mean, Traylon Burks is going to be just a big story in camp. The guy is a really good football player. He could be a very good NFL receiver. Just haven't obviously seen much and don't know if it's going to continue to be a thing that he can't participate in stuff. If he can't, then what can you realistically expect from the guy in his rookie year?
Yeah, I mean, that's to me a huge question. Like, when training camp comes around, he needs to be able to be on the field for the whole time. I mean, I'm not saying that it's going to make a huge difference, the fact that he's not really been out there all that much when it comes to what he does in October at this point, but you're talking about a guy that with expectations just normally with a first-round pick, they're sky high anyway, and then you factor in that the Isaiah Wilson situation from 2 years ago, Caleb Farley from last year, they've gotten virtually nothing out of their first-rounders the last couple of years, and you just traded A.J. Brown. I mean, the expectations for this kid are going to be through the roof, and he's not been on the field. So, like, it's difficult for me if he comes out there the first week of training camp and he's not a full participant. I mean, that's a huge deal to me. Like, he needs to be ready to go, and he needs to be able to participate and get through multiple practices in a row out there with the offense, because every rep at this point between him and Tannehill is going to be really important. And it just kind of feels like there's been some lost time between those two over the course of the last few weeks. And again, is that going to be the world's biggest deal come October? Maybe not, but it certainly doesn't help right now. Like, you could be much further along in the process than they are at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you think about all the deal made of Julio Jones missing time in camp and during the season, all that stuff, and the whole thing with Tannehill and chemistry. Well, Julio Jones is a great receiver who has seen every coverage and has run every route to perfection and has probably made every type of sight adjustment you can make and can sit there and talk with Tannehill about all these things, who's been in the league a long time, and like you really can talk a lot of that stuff out. A rookie receiver, you really have to see it. You got to go do it and figure it out and get the timing and all that stuff. So that's a big one. But if you want to talk about overall, we haven't talked about the defense because it's all pretty much, to me, positive. And even the fact that Caleb Farley, we talked about this last week, but Caleb Farley is out there in some of these team things in a yellow jersey, but still, they're willing to put him out there and that stuff. I was a little bit surprised by that, and I think that speaks well of his progress. So we'll see. Elijah last week was like maybe late October, early November, you can expect something from him. I don't know. I think it could be earlier than that, potentially. I mean, if he's doing the stuff he's doing now, I think the idea of Farley being active for the opener is there.
Yeah.
And we still just don't know how good of a player he is, but at least that's a possibility. That looks all positive. McCreary, I think, looks like a guy who they could potentially count on this year. That looks like a pick that has a chance to pay off, and then everything else is pretty set, pretty strong on that defense. You know, we'll see with the third safety thing. I think Theo Jackson showed some promise, but we'll learn more about him in camp too. That is still a spot that could maybe use a little depth added in terms of a veteran.
Where do you think Tannehill is right now as they head into training camp? Given everything that's happened from the tumultuous offseason to the press conference to the mentor gate to how he's responded on the field in your eyes, heading into obviously a pivotal year for him, not only with the Titans this year, but just for his career in general. Where do you think he is heading into training camp?
I think he looked great out there. He threw the ball like he's thrown the ball since he's been here for the most part, other than last year and some of those games when he was throwing it to the other team. But, yeah, he looks good. He looks like he's doing all the things on the field as a leader you'd want from him. And it really, to me, comes down to, is he going to get protected? Because obviously that was not good enough for a lot of last year. And then I think he's really going to like Austin Hooper. There's no doubt in my mind that Hooper is going to be a big part of the offense, is a significant upgrade at that position. And that will soften some of the blow of losing A.J. Brown. But, you know, on the outside, Robert Woods is good. Westbrook-Akina has to be mentioned quickly, early, when you start talking about receivers. And then after Burks and the big question there and the need there, I'm really not sure with that receiving core. Actually, I do think Josh Malone has got to watch in camp for sure. He's helped himself. But is that enough? I mean, how do they feel about that? That room? There's another possible veteran ad situation. To me, it's still – but if you tell me that Ryan Tannehill is going to get better protection than last year, then I think he's going to have a really good year. But how do you feel good about that right now?
It's hard to feel good about it. That's why it's going to be interesting to see when the pads coming up for the offensive lineman. That's when you start to learn things in training camp. And, you know, can Dylan Radins handle that? Can Nicholas Petit-Frere handle that? Who's playing left guard? There's a lot that we're going to find out when the pads come on. That's probably the most interesting offensive line watching we're going to be doing around here in a long time, be my guess.
Yeah, it's been pretty set.
Yeah.
The right tackle has been a thing here. You know, since Conklin left, they've bounced around, and Kelly, but yeah, two spots. That's it's been a while since they've had two spots that are that up in the air and potentially problematic.
Coming up next, it is time for the Rex Rant, Joe Rexrode's rant of the day. As always, we'll take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Every Wednesday at 5, join us for Jared versus Joe as they debate all of the big topics in sports, presented by Parman Tractor and Equipment and Mayweather Boxing and Fitness on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
On Fox 17, Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus, an air quality alert in effect throughout the entire day. If you have respiratory issues or are very active outdoors, limit your time outside. No humidity, but highs in the low 90s throughout the afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
At Kubota, We want to help you deliver a job done right. That's why they want you to know that the new Kubota inventory is arriving daily. You have work to do. We have the reliable, durable, and versatile lineup to help you do it. Visit Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota today for all your equipment needs. 2 locations to serve you, Columbia Kubota or Franklin Kubota. Visit us online at columbiakubota.com or franklinkubota.com.
Thunderous dunks, crunching body slams, blazing fastballs, heart-racing game winners. Women's work is never done. SiriusXM is recognizing the 50th anniversary of Title IX by shining a light on how far we've come and how much further we need to go to ensure women have an equal chance to be great. Hear women's games, news and analysis of women's sports and more. The 50th anniversary of Title IX. Download the SiriusXM app and listen now.
Progressive is America's #1 motorcycle insurer, so we understand motorcycles. No, really, we have a bike translator.
Okay, so this bike feels like he's capable of a little more than just trips to the convenience store. Oh, also, he wants to let you know that you can buy a gallon of ice cream instead of a pint every time. Those are his words. So he said roughly like, blink the last wheel. It doesn't really translate, but the way he said it was super funny.
Get 24/7 roadside assistance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Roadside assistance subject to policy terms and limits and may require comprehensive coverage.
You want 8 of the flutes and onyx.
Giro's hand-blown glassware blows right off her store's shelves.
Check the back for more indigo bowls.
She needs an inventory manager to help keep her stock on lock.
These are 100% borosilicate. Those aren't. Hey, can someone check the temp on the kiln?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by conducting interviews on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, you see Tony's face?
Yeah, he's using one of them Dollar Shave Club 6-blade razors with 6 stainless steel blades for a close shave. His face is as smooth as a river rock.
Smooth as a nice olive oil.
Like a bowling ball.
Like silk pajamas.
Like a seal down at the aquarium.
Like a ball of wax.
Wax job?
Hey, no one said nothing about a wax job, okay? Quit being a wise guy.
Dollar Shave Club, for a noticeably smooth shave. Find us in stores and at dollarshaveclub.com.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
On ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. The time is now for the Rex Rant.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
On Robby and Rexrode, here on ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
And it is that time of the day, time for the Rex Rant here on Robby and Rexrode. Joe Rexrode's rant of the day with his favorite song, Glorious Domination, leading us back in here to the program today. Joe Rexrode, how's this one feel? I'll turn things over to you.
It's amazing timing because my rant today is, please, Bill Haslam, get rid of Glorious Domination. It's perfect. Thank
That'd
you.
be Act 1 of your new tenure.
Yeah. No matter what else you do, okay? Just please get rid of that. Well, I have some other ideas too, but start there. Good job, Michelle. I'm always like waiting now on pins and needles of what you're gonna do.
I know. I saw your eyes. You always are like,
what's coming next?
Some One Direction.
I kind of missed the NCOT B, but
of course that could be Rexrode thinking about anything. Just
That's true.
It's gonna happen.
Hurts for me to think too. So there's that. Okay, so I think I've said some of my past jobs before, so I'm gonna say it again. Just because this is kind of a hypocritical rant. So my first job was only for tips. It was a bagger at the commissary at King Abdulaziz Air Base in 7th grade in Dhahran, Saudi Arabia. And I had a little box, and basically I bagged groceries. Back then it was only paper bagging, of course. And I bagged groceries, and if people wanted to leave a tip, they left a tip. Otherwise, I didn't get paid. Like, I'd show up, and it was like, if you get paid, if you do a good job and are nice to people, maybe they'll throw a buck in there, like a dime or something.
Yeah.
So that was my first job, was only working for tips. I've worked at a golf course as a cart boy and basically made tips. Why is that funny?
I didn't know you were a cart boy.
Not like the beer cart, but like I came out and like, let me put your clubs in the back. Yep. And
I thought we had bartender Rex at like age 12.
No, we did know where the beer cart was. But no, there'd be like there's a few golfers there that like like we'd fight for. You'd race over to I remember this one guy drove a Lexus. It was like, oh yeah, this dude, it's $10 every time. Get your butt over there. I've been a pizza delivery boy, I guess. I was in college, but I delivered pizza.
Me too.
And so there you go. So and very much, like you get totally locked in on like different areas of town where you get better tips or worse tips and what should be the tip and all this stuff. So I'm saying all this to say, why does every single thing have to have a tip now?
I don't know.
Because I won't call out the specific businesses because, no free ads. But I think, are we headed toward all the fast food places? So now when you pay with your card, it says, would you like to leave a tip?
I think it could be.
You feel like a total jerk when you don't. But I'm like, I don't, like, is this supposed to be tipped here? Like, is it? And on top of that, so there's that. And then there's also, if you have someone, come out, like we've had people come out to like do some landscaping work that we couldn't do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what do you charge? Okay. Whatever you charge to me, the tip is inherent in the charge. It's not like you're setting the price.
Yeah.
So whatever you say you charge, I'm going to pay you that. You should not then expect like a percentage for a tip. No, it's your business.
Well, who gets tips for landscaping?
I'm telling you that we've been asked, like,
just put it in the price, man.
Exactly.
Well, same with moving, right?
Yeah.
Like movers, I'm like, how much?
Yes.
And then they tell you, and then they're like, do you want a tip? But I'm like, just add it in
Yeah,
the
just
head.
how
and
much,
don't let me
man.
know.
Just how much, right? So again, like I hate to rail against people making tips. Some jobs, if you don't get tips, you don't get any money.
Sure, yeah.
If you obviously are a server or a bartender, like you have to have the tips to make it worth your while. But yeah, if you set the price on something, just set the price. And then the fast, I mean, look, there is an argument like, okay, well, wait a minute. So if you go get takeout somewhere, this is a confusing one for me too. The takeout thing, if you go to like a restaurant, you get takeout. What's the percentage you should tip? Because it's not like it shouldn't be 20%. I don't feel like.
No, like you're going to pick it up yourself.
Right, you're going to pick it up yourself. But like, as for the tip, so what should the percentage be? I actually have been meaning to figure that out. I usually give about 10.
I think that's good for that. Yeah.
But is that too high, too low? It can't be too low, though,
It's
right?
not too low.
Well, I just never know because then you don't also know if those people are making hourly or like I know a friend who works at the front of a pizza counter, but she doesn't make as much hourly, but she gets tips, but most of it's from takeout.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. So you think about a person like that, and you're like, well.
Well, now I feel bad, right?
Now
It's
you
like
feel
you just
bad.
don't know.
But so then go to pick any fast food restaurant. You pay with your card. More and more of them I have found have the would you like to leave a tip, and it has like the 15%, 20%, 25% or something like that.
Or custom.
Yeah. Right. It's like, so I mean, you feel like a total jerk if you don't. I mean, I typically leave something if it shows up.
Me too.
But sometimes it'll be like custom, and I'll just be like not a lot.
Yeah.
But I just I don't like where we're going with this.
It's really weird. I'm glad you brought this up. And there's been one part of this in terms of like things that they're asking for tips now and different places that you go to. Full disclosure, the downtown scene I just don't do much of anymore. I'm in a different stage of life. I generally speaking try to avoid downtown Nashville at all costs. But sometimes I end up there. And I was there a month or two ago. And you go downtown to these establishments, and like you're in the restroom taking care of business, and you go to wash your hands, and like there are people in there, and they're waiting to like fill your hands up with soap,
sure,
and put them under the water. So this has been going on for a long time, and then they just look at you after and like you okay, like, you want $1? So like there was a time where I would just do it, and then eventually I got to the point where I was just like, hey, I can wash my hands all by myself. I don't need somebody to fill my hands up with soap. I can just stick my hand under the machine, and soap comes out, and I can wash these all by myself. That was always weird to me. Of like, we're just going to hang out in the bathroom and
the restroom
fill people's hands up with soap all day.
Yeah, the restroom attendant. Yeah, and it's typically like more at clubs or / kind of fancier places. Typically, it's like in the movie Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or like his dad's in there, and so you get the guy. He has like mints or whatever. Yeah, with those, like I always. Like, I have definitely many times left $1 or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, sometimes you get luck out and there's a whole bunch of people in there and you just quickly, like, wash your hands real fast. But thoroughly. Don't get me wrong. Thoroughly. And then just kind of get out of there and, don't get seen. But, yeah.
Well, if
they actually get to the point of putting the soap on your hand, how do you not give them a tip?
I've found as I've gotten older, I just don't care anymore. Like, I used to be really concerned about that, but now I'm just like, I don't need it, man. Sorry. See you later. I have no problem telling people no anymore.
Well,
go away.
This also gets into someone on the text line talking about a coffee place that it'll ask you if you want to leave a tip for your baristas with the baristas right behind them, putting you on the spot. There's also the grocery store. Would you like to leave $1 for a particular charity or something? I will say, though, with those, I always say yes, you get more coupons if you do it. That is true. So that's a little tip. You get coupons if you use coupons.
And you're donating to a good cause.
A little tip on tipping, yes. What's that?
And you're donating to a good cause.
Yeah, sure. So, like, of course, like, who's going to say, hey, would you like to, donate to, food pantry or something like that, or for kids or something like, I mean, that's a tough one to say no to, right?
It is.
You can, but there's just a lot of this, and it's tough to navigate. I need actual feedback on what you're supposed to tip someone when you get takeout.
Yeah.
That's
a tough one.
What about like a haircut?
Yeah.
I don't go to expensive haircut places. I know it may be shocking to you. But I leave it
my
Lego hair just needs a little.
It's the beauty of doing it yourself.
That's
You're just
true.
saying,
Yeah, you haven't had to worry about the haircut thing
Long
for a while.
time.
See? It's kind of nice. But that's also a tipping thing, which is fine. That one is fine. But especially if you own your own business, like if you're a kid who has a lawn service, charge what you're going to charge.
Yeah.
Or if you're a babysitter, charge what you're going to charge, and that's what you're going to
get.
It's
just what it is. Yeah.
Like,
I don't understand that part of it.
Manufacturing a tip.
Yeah. Dennis on the text line says, wait, are we the listeners supposed to be Venmoing you guys tips after each show? I've just been listening without tipping all this time. Sorry.
Dennis, yes.
Dennis, your illustrations are tip
tips
enough,
yes.
But in general, yes. Thank you. We need some back pay, people. Let's
All
go.
our Venmos are just our first and last names.
I actually don't have a Venmo,
but
I can give you
Rexrode has a Venmo.
I can give you my wife, though.
No, it's Katie's because she's Venmo'd me.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows how to do things like that.
Evan on the text line says, tipping culture just keeps wages low for workers. Mark up the product and pay your employees better. Tips should be a reward for good service, not the only way people get paid. This is coming from Evan on the text line.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Phil says, tipping in this economy? Yeah, also a fair point.
I had totally forgotten about the restroom attendant until you brought this back up, and now I'm just thinking to myself, man, it's amazing that people actually did this. It's crazy.
It's been a while since I've been to a place that has. I'm not.
Well, I got to a point there for a while.
I'm not clubbing a lot.
I would
lately.
purposely avoid. I was like, no, I'm not going in there.
Well, do they work for the bar?
Pee outside.
I don't
they
know.
work for the bar, or are they just there? Like, I had no idea.
I think they're typically sort of like it's almost like a concessions person, right? They're independent contractors who work at a athletic event or whatever. Yeah.
Someone like
there's
chase
another
you down.
one, by the way. You tip.
Take this soap. Take it now.
Come here, give me your hand. Well, what about what about like if you go to a ball game, buy a beer, you tip that person?
I typically
they'll take it.
Yeah.
Which is I've thought about that for. Like they open the fridge and open the thing for me.
Your $17 Bud Light.
Okay,
but
thanks.
I will say that typically in that situation, if I'm getting like hot dogs and pop or something for the kids, I usually don't. But if I get a beer, I usually do tip. Why?
I don't know.
Why is that?
Just programmed that way.
Yeah, just because I'm about to feel better. I don't know.
615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. Joe Rexrode's rant of the day. You can check out the Rex rant every day at 7:45 here on Robby and Rexrode. Coming up next, we'll get back into the Titans. Got more of your thoughts to get into on our text line, including one thought on the Titans scouts that I think is pretty interesting as we move forward here. 615-737-1025. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, 1063 The Game.
You watch The Game.
Line to left, coming on Newstrom. Base hit, Sounds win.
We talk The Game.
But they knew he'd be really good. Well, if they don't make that move, they don't win those championships.
We are The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Backyard Blues Pools is your one-stop shop in Middle Tennessee for all your pool needs. Voted #1 pool company in Rutherford County 11 years in a row and counting. They have everything from new installs down to their 5-star cleaning services. Visit Backyard Blues Pools in either 2 locations in Murfreesboro. Be sure to honk your horn when you see their big yellow truck and the Lazy Penguin. Come support Clay Greenfield in the number 84 Backyard Blues Pools Toyota truck on Friday, June 24th at Nashville Superspeedway.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and paid time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
The coolest beer fest in town returns to Bridgestone Arena on Saturday, June 25th. Get out of the heat and enjoy unlimited craft beer tastings from over 80 breweries at the Preds Beer Fest. Each general admission ticket includes a souvenir tasting glass and a ticket to a Preds home game in October. General admission ticket starts at just $69. All proceeds benefit the Nashville Predators Foundation, which supports Middle Tennessee nonprofits. Visit NashvillePredators.com/beer to secure your tickets today.
This is Monster Jam! June 23rd, 11 to 1 at Nissan Stadium. Bring 5 non-perishable food items to receive 1 complimentary ticket. Limited to the first 250 donations while supplies last. Restrictions may apply.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us, no matter how big or small your business is. Earn back when you spend, get exclusive offers, and paint rewards. It all adds up to help level up your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program today. Minimum purchase required. Earnings and paint rewards awarded as Lowe's e-gift cards. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms. Subject to change. U.S. only.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free Fix Finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions, verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes. The free Fix Finder service, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
More details at AutoZone.com.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robby and Rexrode at DDC.
Still in company.
Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 and 1063.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game 7.
Checker flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime.
Welcome back in. Hour number 3 of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 1025, 1063 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic, intern Hanley here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Lots of opinions coming the way on the text line as regarding to tipping.
Yeah, lots of stuff. Real quick, Chris from Clarksville, need to tip on takeout, or did he say no need? Does he mean no need? I don't know. He says need to tip on takeout. The server has to account to IRS for a minimum of total sales for taxes. So even if they get under tip, the IRS auto assumes they get a specific percentage. So if you don't tip on takeout, it goes against their sales. A lot of other people are saying 0% on takeout, 20% on delivery, 20% on haircut. Okay, I hadn't heard that. I guess 20% is kind of standard for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I struggle with 0% on takeout, but
most times 0%.
Most times 0%.
Yeah.
Are you?
I mean, I'm going to the store and doing it. So
yeah. But I mean, also like cooks get tipped out and stuff, from tips.
Well, listen, then you got like DoorDash and Uber Eats, and that's a whole nother level of it too.
Yeah.
I never know the
so
tip
when
on
you
that.
when you pay $39 for a coffee, is it also like is there 4 of that as a tip, or is that just for your coffee?
Well, listen, it's just great when you
212-ounce coffee coming in the door.
When you also get the coffee, it's great because then Katie Rexrode just Venmo'd me.
See, the Venmo comes into play. Caleb from Gallatin says, I do landscaping. We don't work on tips or even ask for them. Sometimes a person will come out and give one just because, and we'll gladly. Well, that's great.
Sure.
No, I mean that's awesome. Yeah, it's just to me, it's like I guess it's a little even more like, especially if it's like your own business. Like you should just whatever
Just
you
put in
want
the
to get
price.
paid.
Hey, I've never even heard of that.
Here's the
Yeah.
pay. Yeah. No, there are definitely people who are like. And, we like tips, too. Well, just tell me. What's
just put in the price,
What's the
man?
price? Just tell me the price. Yeah.
Wow. 615-737-1025. Jeff texting in earlier on the Titans says, honestly, how did Titans scouts continue to miss these big issues on these early draft choices? Referring to Traylon Burks not being able to be on the field much so far throughout OTAs and minicamp as well. Joe, how big of a concern is that to you that we've now gone – obviously, 3 different situations, but to 3 first-round picks in a row with Isaiah Wilson and all the issues that came with that, Caleb Farley being hurt, and some other teams around the league apparently just staying away from him because of the medicals that they ran on him, and now the Traylon Burks saga that continues to unfold. How concerning is that to you that the Titans seem to continually miss some of these issues and have some with their first-round picks?
Well, it would be – if the Burks thing ends up being, a real problem and that's it, and it goes back to he can't be in shape or whatever, and then, it's an incredibly bad run if that's the case. There's a long way to go before that's the thing. And I still think you have to give someone a little bit of time to get in the league, figure out what it takes. Obviously, he figured out what it took at Arkansas last year to be a dominant receiver in the best college football conference. So, and his coach talked about that and figuring some things out. Got to give a little, like, to me, it's a big difference between the medicals where some teams are like, oh my gosh, I'm not touching that guy, to, he wasn't that impressive, wasn't in the best shape. Some teams didn't like that. I understand now how it looks because he missed so much of the spring, but it's still a big difference to me. And then you go back. Look, again, I think they're all different situations. Said it before, we'll say it again. The Isaiah Wilson red flags were very minimal. There was like this one workout, and I don't even remember the exact specifics of the one workout where he was late or something like that. But a little bit of immaturity. But, okay, there's plenty of 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds where there's a little bit of immaturity to work out. Like Isaiah Wilson was a totally post-draft disaster, but they didn't really, based on the information I've had, they didn't really like miss all these huge red flags. Burks, I wouldn't call that either. Farley is that's a different deal. Farley is, you have your own medical people, and remember, it was limited still, that draft, compared to like what it is in a normal year. Not to make an excuse for them, I'm just saying, like, you had to know going in that you may not have the best grasp. That could be a reason to not go with a Farley in a year like that, right? Because it's like the way they were sharing information and everything, you didn't have the personal contact you have in a normal year. But, as I say, all these things can go with each one. When you add it all together, it's like, can you just have one first-round pick where it's like, yep, everything's good and yay, and it works out perfectly right away. Snap your fingers.
Well, that's the thing. It's been 3 years in a row where there's been some sort of issue. Yeah. And I get it. I agree with you. Like, they're 3 totally different situations. but it's 3 years in a row with a first-round pick where there's something that's not going to plan. Like Isaiah Wilson speaks for itself and how much of a disaster that was. Caleb Farley tore his ACL. It's not like, you could see a torn ACL coming, but the medical is what it is with Caleb Farley. And there were some teams that went on record. Now, they did this after the draft and said that they wouldn't have touched Caleb Farley. So we talked about that at the time, too. Like, okay, it's easy to say that stuff after the draft, too, when somebody else has taken the player. And who knows who those people were? Like, was it Chris Ballard? Never touched Caleb Farley. My goodness. No, he wasn't even on our board.
That GM should be fired, whoever that is.
Yeah, so you could take those things with a grain of salt, too. I understand that. But the bottom line is, one of the things that we talked about in the pre-draft process this year was, man, I'd really like to get through the first-round pick this year and for there to not be any issues. You're on the field, you're available, you play, and it is what it is. Now, are you good? We'll find out. But I would like for there to not be any issues. And I'm not saying that Treylon Burks is going to be some big issue moving forward, but it has been so far, and it's 3 years in a row where there's been something with your draft pick in the first round.
The wild thing is there was no talk of this right after they picked him.
Yeah.
I mean, the Breer stuff came out after he had missed some time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he even wrote that at the time, did he? He didn't write that going into the draft.
I don't think so.
So it's like the only issue, but the issue was to trade A.J. Brown. So there's like something has to, Farley was just the issue on its own. Actually, though, if you want to go back, it's really 4 straight drafts where Simmons, ACL, and there was the question of Simmons and the incident, in high school. Isaiah Wilson, obviously Farley, and now Burks. But Burks, the big controversy with Burks was just the fact that, and A.J. Brown's gone, and this is now your replacement. But it turns out that there was some stuff. So, yeah, they just badly need one to break their way. Farley could still end up being a good player.
Sure.
Simmons
so could
turned out
Burks.
to be a great player. Burks, yeah, of course. No, I mean, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it still could end up that it's just Isaiah Wilson on an island of a disastrous turnout and all-time bust for the Titans in the first round and whatever it is. He could be totally on an island, But right now, not knowing about Farley and then this uncertainty and the bad start for Burks, it's easy to look at it all and say, it's like I understand the question in the text line. I totally do. Like the scouting department, are they missing things? And with Farley, I do believe that there's some teams that wouldn't. Some teams are very hardline on that stuff. It's just a different philosophy. But you know what? Some teams are probably hardline enough to not touch Simmons 3 years ago, and that can work out for you to get a value pick that way. We'll see if Farley turns out to be a value pick.
615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Are you concerned of the Titans scouting department and how they view draft picks with the first-round track record that they've had as of late? 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
Getting enough sides so you don't have to share? That's finger licking good. Order the KFC Side Lovers Meal today and get 3 large KFC sides served with 8 pieces of tenders or fried chicken. Prices and participation may vary.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
Signs First is the official sign company for 1025 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Hey, Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 1025 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have two choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. It doesn't matter how big or small your business is. If you're a plumber, roofer, electrician, or remodeler, your business earns back when you spend, gets exclusive offers, and paint rewards. It all adds up to help drive your business. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards and Partnership Program today. Minimum purchase required. Earnings and paint rewards awarded as Lowe's e-gift cards. Exclusions, restrictions, and more terms apply. Valid through 12/31/22. See Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty Terms. Subject to change. U.S. only.
It's simple. When the right teams talk with the right players, good selections happen. And it's no different for your business. Because when you post a job for free, LinkedIn Jobs taps into a network of over 810 million professionals to find the right people for your role. LinkedIn Jobs helps you narrow down the most qualified candidates so you can start hiring the right people. Go to linkedin.com/sports to post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Thanks, everyone, for baking your way here on this toasty morning. Are you all ready to jam? Excellent. Before we get rolling, let's start by hashing out everything bagel will be discussing. Profit margins are okay, but they could maybe be butter. Sorry, I don't mean to waffle. Next quarter, it's all or muffin. Did you have a question, Sausage Patty?
My name's Patricia.
When you can't take your mind off breakfast, it matters where you stay. Delicious breakfast available at our Hilton family of brands. Hilton, for the stay.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching a game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Welcome back in, Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Taking your thoughts on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. By the way, speaking of the text line, people were really upset earlier that you did not know that Ken Griffey Jr. and Ken Griffey Sr. played together.
It's bad.
Very upset.
They should be. That's bad. No, again, like I told my kid, like Brennan showed me a clip. He's like, look, like he caught, apparently when they played against each other too, he caught they made some crazy catch on Ken Sr.'s fly ball. I was like, oh, that must have been like some like charity event or something. I'm pretty sure that Griffey retired before his son. And I'm totally, how did I miss that?
I don't know.
That's just
You
one.
also didn't know Giannis had a brother in the league.
That's the thing. Like, I'm kind of dumb, guys. I mean, I hate to break
Are you
this to
qualified to continue to do this program?
I mean, I don't know. It's I'm just focused on Titans' bad draft picks, okay?
That's right.
Can only focus on so many things at once. Because Jeff did text back and say Dylan Radins, and yes, of course, that's part of the whole thing too. High
That's
pick,
different though,
not
right?
just first round pick.
Like,
yeah, that's just like, is he good enough?
Like, is he good enough to play? Like,
but it's. I mean, I guess if you're confining it to red flags you missed, but it's also still just scouting players too. And because with Caleb Farley, that's going to be interesting. Obviously, I think he's got a lot of ability. He's got a chance to be a good corner in the league, but there wasn't a ton even of him as a corner, And with Dylan Radins, you didn't have the playing against the highest level in the trenches. So I don't know if there's like a consistent theme there. If you want to go back to the Isaiah Wilson year, second-round pick from that year is turning out pretty well, I think. I think Christian Fulton last year made that draft instantly better. If Dylan Radins comes out and starts at right tackle this year and is pretty good, then okay, you start to improve that draft. But he's another high pick question mark right now for sure.
Well, and some of it just is it's weighing risk, right? I mean, Dylan Radins coming from a lower level of college football at that position, that's a risk to take a guy like that. We talked about it with Farley when he got drafted. I mean, we were both looking, I think, at Greg Newsome that time. We're like, kind of feels like the safer pick between he and Caleb Farley. Now, Newsome played last year. He was good with the Browns. He started in 11 games, played in 12. He did get hurt towards the ends of the year, but, you know, I'm always going to be, to me anyway, I'm going to look at Greg Newsome, I'm going to look at Caleb Farley, and I'm going to say, well, Newsome was there for you. If he ends up having a much better career than Caleb Farley, you look around at John Robinson, and you're like,
I mean, if
that one hurts, man.
Like if you're John Robinson and you could just do something like this, would you just trade straight up? You know, like if you could go back, just, okay, you can stick with this and hope it works out, and you believe his ceiling's high and he could be dynamite, or what about Newsome? How about would you just take Newsome right now? He'd probably just take Newsome.
Probably, but that's the other part of this too, because Caleb Farley could come out this year and be great, and then you look like a genius at that point. You know, I don't know. I think Greg Newsome's a good player. I don't know that Greg Newsome is ever going to be like this shut-down elite-level cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Will Caleb Farley be that? Probably not, statistically speaking, but I think the ability is there, at least athletically. And that's why he got drafted where he got drafted.
Yeah, but it's still.
And he got clocked at like 23 miles an hour in college, didn't he? Caleb Farley.
Caleb Farley. Yeah, I mean,
Would he go on Collinsworth podcast and be like, "Yeah, I ain't afraid of Tyreek Hill running. That's fine. I'll be all right."
Yeah. He served notice to him. Hey, if we ever get like Caleb Farley starting, playing at a high level at corner in this league. Also, on the media side, we'll have some fun with that too. Yeah, he'll be outspoken, but I just that one is a different deal because it's serious injury stuff. This year is again, it's tied to the trade, which I have a big problem with, but Traylon Burks, really, you can go back and watch him. The guy can play football at a very high level. So it's just, what is the transfer to the NFL from what they did at Arkansas, and how much are you missing? How much did he just miss? How far behind is he? I think everybody could agree like camp's really important for him.
Craig on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says, I think with where the Titans have been drafting, they keep trying to find a guy that slipped for whatever reason instead of just taking a solid player. This is coming from Craig on the text line. You buy into that?
Well, again, I think Simmons counts as a value pick, a guy who, if Simmons didn't blow his knee out during workouts, would he have gone a lot higher than that? I think he probably would have gone. Not that an ACL has to be that big of a deal, but it's a little bit bigger deal for big guys. He did have the off-field thing. So altogether, I'd say that was a value pick. And by the way, pretty good one.
Worked out.
Farley is a value pick too, obviously, but it's much more of a health gamble. Back also, by the way, had an ACL before this.
Yep.
So that was just a much bigger. So I think that there's some truth to that. But I don't think that's like with Burks, that's not. I mean, the Burks stuff after the fact, and I'm not saying it's definitely something. I mean, it's worth writing about, as Breer did. But everything in that report, if you read it, if you think the player's good enough, that wouldn't scare me away from the player. And you have to do your own interviews and all these things. And if you feel good coming out of that, then, okay, he's got to learn how to get in shape. We have great strength and conditioning people. He's going to be in the building. We'll figure that out. That's how I would look at it. But then you have the asthma or whatever, whatever all was part of the formula of keeping him off the field for a lot of the spring. There is that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things too where if Burks comes into training camp and he's good to go and he's on the field and Week 1 comes against the Giants, and he's a contributor. Like, we're not really talking about this anymore. Caleb Farley's on the field. He's ready to go. Like, there is still a scenario, like you said last segment, where you look back at the draft miscues in quotes for the Titans, and it really just ends up being Isaiah Wilson. Like, to me, if you're John Robinson, obviously that's what you're pulling for at this point. But that's still, I think even me to some degree, we've just kind of the draft has run together of, oh, you have Caleb Farley, he's not going to work out. Traylon Burks is having all these issues, Isaiah Wilson, and there is still time for two of those three that we're talking about. Like one has not even gotten on the field yet in the NFL.
Well, and Dylan Radins.
Yeah.
And what if Dylan Radins is a good starting tackle and Caleb Farley is a good starting corner and Burks comes up? I mean, there's a chance that, Isaiah Wilson could be on an island. But right now where everything is, totally understand people saying, what's going on? What are they missing? What are they doing? I do think there's some value picking. Look, John Robinson signed Bud Dupree too. Now, I don't know if he got a great value. I mean, he's paid him a lot of money, but there's another guy he went out and got who was coming off a serious injury, and it did not deter John Robinson. So I think that there is some level of mindset of how can you maximize value? I mean, it's like playing the stock market. You buy when they're down or whatever, and then you hope that you get a huge return. It has worked in some cases. That's the thing. Isaiah Wilson wasn't that. Isaiah Wilson was just a bad pick or a bad outcome after a pick that I think actually was sensible, like with the information available at the time. Some people will argue with that, but that's what I think.
Well, and we talk about, everybody jokes about J-Rob not being afraid of the injured guys. Everybody was talking about Jameson Williams. Oh, Titans.
Right.
They'll trade up to get him, man. Go get Jameson Williams, which, by the way, if they did that, I'd be like, okay. Cool.
Yes. If you could have gotten him,
but when you look at it, it really hasn't been – I have two thoughts on this. Number one, they really haven't taken that many guys who have huge injury concerns when you break down to it. And number two, it's football. Like everybody, for the most part, has been injured to some degree playing this sport at a high level.
Right.
Like football.
Exactly.
You get hurt.
Well, you got to – right. And even like A.J. Brown had no injury history here, but he's been hurt here. And they've had some bad luck. Julio Jones really had been incredibly durable through his career. Then finally, his last year in Atlanta, he finally missed his time, and it turns out, well, that continues to linger. I'm very interested to see where he is next year, by the way.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Julio? So, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's not – people have pointed to the Corey Davis pick in 2017 because he had like a broken foot during the – but that was, as far as I know, really his only big injury at that point.
Yeah.
It's
not like he had a ton of foot problems either after that. It was just hamstrings and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Nagging stuff. Yeah. But so, I mean, I think it is smart to draft durability if you can find it. If you have a player who's like, wow, he's never really had injury history, I think that's a great thing to draft.
Sure.
That's a good sign. But they've drafted some guys like that too, including, by the way, number 22 in the second round in 2016, Robinson's first draft. That's worked out okay.
I got a text that says you can't leave out Darrington Evans in this discussion. That is true.
But Darren, well, that's once he got here, yes. Yeah. I don't recall, and I could be forgetting, but I don't recall Darrington Evans, like injury red flag being part of his draft.
Where's he at? I assume Atlanta. I can't remember. Maybe it's the Bears.
I think you're right. It is the Bears, but how could it not be in Atlanta?
Yeah, I know. I just assume everybody that's ever played for the Titans somehow ends up with the Falcons nowadays.
Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, the monster of the Midway. We're forgetting that when we talk about how your Packers
could be may
finally be overtaken this
year. By the way,
I
got back on Facebook yesterday after my 8-day hiatus, and one of the things that I saw, which was like apparently, I don't know if it's a joke from you that you've somehow infiltrated my Facebook, but like one of the videos of like For You popped up, and it was like, check out Marcus Mariota's top plays at Atlanta Falcons minicamp. I was like, oh yeah, let's look at this. Good throws by Marcus.
Yeah, that I did. I went in there and messed with the calculus there on your Facebook.
He's throwing the ball real well down there.
He's going to be in your face this year. I'm here for it.
That quarterback competition between Desmond Ridder and Mariota is going to be something to watch coming up in a few weeks.
In all seriousness, what was the word on Ridder? Anything out of there? Yeah.
No clue.
He may as well just have a seat.
That's right.
Marcus is here, baby.
Number 8's back. He's going to. Well, I guess he's not number 8.
What is he there?
I don't know. Kyle Pitts is number 8, isn't he?
Well, then Marcus probably could have had it, but he's such a good guy and such a good leader that he's not going to take it.
615-737-1025. 615-737-1025. We'll take your thoughts on our text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
He's number 1.
Number 1, huh?
He's number 1.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
And number one in your heart, Joe.
Yeah, you don't get anybody number one. Not everybody just gets number one. What does that tell you? Arthur Smith is about to overtake the NFL with Marcus. I'm here for it.
Boy, it's going to be something to watch coming up here in a few weeks. We'll get back into the Preds coming up next, including some interesting news on Barry Trotz over the weekend. All that on the other side. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, this is Phil with Forsberg. And this is Smashville.
Forsberg a shot, broken up in front, give it back to Forsberg, and here come the Habs.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
If you're driving less, you could be saving more on car insurance. Save money with pay-per-mile insurance from Allstate. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote.
Men, what if I told you that now you're able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMDformen.com.
Hey, this is Sean Ford, Director of Sales for ESPN 102.5 The Game. I'm looking for talented salespeople to add to our dynamic and growing team. If you're an experienced seller who's looking for a new adventure and a career path that offers more excitement and new opportunities, you may want to listen up. First of all, if you're hearing this message, you're probably already a fan of The Game. We have a long list of local businesses who are fans too and love what we do to help them grow. You might be someone who could be a part of that experience. Are you comfortable meeting strangers and earning their trust? Do you enjoy working in a team environment, but self-motivated to set and achieve your own personal goals? Are you a creative person who loves to share your ideas with others? Do you thrive on making a difference in your community? If the answers to all those questions was yes, then we should talk. Send your resume and cover letter to together@cromwellmedia.com. That's together@cromwellmedia.com. Let's see if we're a good match. Cromwell Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey Nashville, it's Chase McKay, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have two choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
So sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. You know me, I'm a huge football fan, but it can be stressful for us super fans. So Progressive is going to help take your mind off your team for a moment. Instead of thinking about how your team threw the wrong ball on the wrong net, just think about how Home Court Explorer lets you easily compare our direct rates with multiple companies. Well, hope this distraction about Progressive's Home Court Explorer was helpful. It sure helped me from stressing about my team for a bit. Anyway, go sports!
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, Nashville, this is Dan Lebitard. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Well, sir, what we're told is that Barry Trotz, his intention is to make his decision on his NHL future around July 1st, and he's indicated that to a few teams. Now, we know, of course, we reported before that he's interviewed with the Winnipeg Jets, he's interviewed with the Detroit Red Wings, among other clubs, for the head coaching jobs. But we're also told that he has chatted with his old NHL club, the Nashville Predators, about a potential management role with the organization, which has always kind of been rumored about Barry Trotz, but it's interesting that that's yet another option for Barry Trotz potentially.
That was Pierre LeBrun over the weekend, NHL insider for The Athletic and for TSN as well, discussing the future of Barry Trotz, former Nashville Predators head coach. currently a free agent on the market, discussing his options of does he want to keep coaching? Does he want to get back into management? According to Pierre LeBrun, hoping to make a decision sometime around July 1st. It was interesting over the weekend to hear Pierre talk about apparently conversations between him and the Nashville Predators have taken place in terms of maybe coming back in as a management position here with the Preds. So what do you make of that report there from Pierre LeBrun, and what do you make of the idea of Barry Trotz maybe being in a management role here in Nashville?
The word chat, does that mean it's really just sort of checking it out? You know, that's a words.
What does chat mean? I mean,
words matter.
I'll say this. If you've ever chatted with Barry Trotz, I've never had a quick conversation with Barry Trotz. They generally take a while.
So a chat with him is it's a long,
endeavor.
Involved conversation. Yeah.
It's always pleasant, but it's an endeavor.
So I don't know. It's we talked about that as a possibility all the way back when the Islanders did the stupid thing they did.
The morning of Game 4, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And it's just a matter of, I think we know that Barry Trotz is a great coach. I'm sure he could be good in management, right? Yeah, you do this and you coach and you're in the league this long, you know what works, what doesn't work. It makes sense, but some people probably more built for one than the other. Is Barry Trotz going to be as effective in a front office role as he is as a coach? If that's the case, then the Preds should go after him hard.
Yeah.
You know? But it's interesting that he had that conversation. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, giving credit to Michael Gallagher, Nashville Post, for the story from Tuesday when he bought a $1.5 million house.
2,200 square feet.
There's a picture of it.
Guys, he could pull a Brad Stevens.
Maybe.
Yeah. Brad Stevens. Of course, the difference there is he bumped up, just bumped up the same place. Worked out pretty well for them. And I feel like they got more effective coaching with Udoka, and Stevens, I'm sure, is going to be good in the front office. If it got to this point of being serious here, is that basically he is like an apprentice to Poyle and becomes Poyle at some point when Poyle retires? Is that the idea? Is that the thinking?
I don't know. You get me thinking about Star Wars now with apprentice thoughts being thrown out there. Sorry, I had to nerd out for a minute.
Apprentice. I'm not following.
You've never seen an apprentice in Star Wars? Where you have a Jedi Master and an apprentice.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm just okay. I wasn't sure if I was
all right.
forgetting something specific,
sure.
like like the Griffies playing together. Apparently, yeah, I got you. Okay, right. The apprentice idea. So you're trying to say that then Poyle and Trotz would have a fight to the death?
Maybe. Just Vader and Palpatine all over again. Yeah. I've gone really deep in this rabbit hole now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
By the way, do you like the Obi-Wan?
Kenobi's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I haven't started watching yet, but okay, good. I trust your judgment.
Yeah.
But that's it. Of course, there's also just the interesting dynamic there in that Poyle fired Trotz several years ago. But they've had a good relationship, and it comes down to if you're Trotz and you want to get into management, you have lived here. Again, they just bought a new house here. Doesn't necessarily mean a thing about what his next job's going to be. You can still have that home. Which, by the way, I've mapped out. I'm not going to say the address on the air again. I already did today, but I won't do that again. But I know where he is now.
That's good.
Very close where we ate yesterday. So good to know.
I mean,
just
the thing is,
on the front door.
Yeah.
The thing is, he's third all time in the history of the league in wins.
That's wild.
He's third in NHL history in wins, behind Scotty Bowman and Joel Quenneville. And I wonder, like, is that fire? By the way, Peter Laviolette's ninth on the all-time list. So the Predators have two coaches in the history of the league in the top 10 in wins.
But and the winningest GM.
And the winningest GM. Is that fire for Barry Trotz? Is it done? Like, he's a hockey coach, and he's been a hockey coach nonstop at this level since 1998. I mean, it's a long time to be doing this. Has that fire burned out? Does he get into a situation, and I can't imagine Trotz wanting to do this, but does he get into a situation where he goes the management route for a year, and then he looks around and says, you know what? I really like coaching. I really miss coaching.
That's a good point.
I want to get back into it. Like, I that could be – I mean, he's been stewing on this now ever since he got fired by the Islanders. So you're approaching 2 months. But by the time he makes that decision,
got to make sure
that
you're
could be what
done.
he's thinking about.
You got to make sure you're done coaching. But that's the thing. You can say that, but like you said, you can say, okay, yep, I'm ready to move on, and then you go through a year, you're like, I still have a lot to give in coaching. And I know that there's 4 teams right now that would hire me. Boom, snap my fingers. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. And I would think that management, I think both jobs, high pressure, public, demanding. But management probably be a little bit less demanding, right? I mean, just the fact that as a coach, you got to travel to every game. On a daily basis, you are trying to manage this group of young athletes, egos, everything else, trying to put together a lineup, motivate, educate, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
Whereas you get into management, and again, I'm not diminishing how tough that job is, but it has to be less grueling.
You would think so. Now, the other part of this is if he decides to go the management route, what does that mean? Is that assistant general manager? Is he in the scouting department? Is there an advisory role that's created for Barry Trotz at that point? Like, what would that mean? Because I would assume, and I don't know this, but my guess is, like, if Barry Trotz wants to get into management, then he wants to get into management, and he wants to be higher up in management, would be my guess. So
yeah, it's not like a retirement job,
right?
Where sometimes I'm going to go to the front office, outreach for people, and hey, come to events, and it wouldn't. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about nitty gritty, seeing if you can be an effective GM in this league at some point.
Well, and I think in terms of, he's been around the league for so long now, and he's dealt with so many different types of players that I think he could be really good at helping you identify some talent, and not just, when you traditionally think of this as your younger players, but, looking around the rest of the league. Like, he's been preparing scouting reports for a lot of these guys for a long time. You get a trade deadline or free agency this year, could be something that you want to take a look at if you're Barry Trotz and the Predators. So I think he could help on a variety of fronts. I just wonder if the coaching bug is gone from Barry Trotz because, look, he's interviewed with Detroit. He's interviewed with Winnipeg. I think he's been contacted by Philadelphia. Vegas' job is still open. You could have your pick of, if you're Barry Trotz, of where you wanted to go. I wonder if that itch is satisfied. And if it's not, like, if you're Barry Trotz, are you signing up for the Red Wings job right now, knowing that in all likelihood in the next couple of years you're probably not going to be in a place where you're a Stanley Cup contender? You got to get back to the playoffs first if you're the Red Wings. So are you, at his age, at 59, are you willing to go through that, maybe a 3 or 4 year cycle again?
If the Preds hired Barry Trotz for whatever the title would be, some sort of support position for David Poile, would that take some heat off David Poile?
I don't know. That's an interesting question because
if you're a Preds fan, then you don't necessarily want to start completely over. Right now, you have maybe who you want to be your GM in the pipeline. So now it's like, okay, when Poile retires, now it'll be Trotz.
Well, let me ask you.
You don't know if that'll be great, but you know Barry Trotz.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say they start 2-4 next year, and Barry Trotz is in the front office. You know how many texts we're going to get on our text line? Well, all right, it's time for Barry Trotz to come down and be the coach. That management lasted 6 games. Get down there behind the bench.
Well, yeah, that's true. The Trotz, now he needs to be the coach thing is that too, right? Well, that's interesting too, like with Crispy. One thing that I hadn't even thought about, but in those early days when they were trying to get him to be the broadcaster, one of their reasons they were hesitant, Terry and Sheila, was because they didn't want it to look like he was hovering over Barry Trotz's shoulder, because Barry Trotz is this new unproven coach, right?
Yeah.
And Crispy didn't want it to look like he's like the guy waiting for the next coaching job, which is interesting. So you do think about things like that. But yeah, you're right. People will be all over that.
We'll take your thoughts. 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. Your thoughts on Barry Trotz potentially as a member of Preds front office and Preds management as they move forward here. 615-737-1025. Also, we'll get into Bill Haslam's ownership of the Preds and what that could mean for the team as they move forward, both in the short and long term. That's coming up next. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Super Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert.
I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. An air quality alert in effect throughout the entire day. If you have respiratory issues or are very active outdoors, limit your time outside. No humidity, but highs in the low 90s throughout the afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
People are driving from all over to shop at Genesis Diamonds right now to take advantage of our very best financing offer, now extended through July 2nd. 5 years, zero interest financing with zero down. It's a fantastic opportunity, making everything more affordable. How about a $6,000 GIA certified diamond for just $100 a month? A $4,000 pair of diamond stud earrings, just $67 a month. Don't miss this. We will not be extending it again. 5 years, zero interest financing, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. Open this Sunday, Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
Smokeville Smoke Shop has been serving Hendersonville and Metro Nashville since 2015 and is committed to providing high quality, hands-on, and personable customer service. Stop into Smokeville Smoke Shops in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Hermitage, and Goodlettsville to try any of their wide selection of locally sourced products and selection of top nationwide brands including vapes, hookah, hand-blown glass, detox systems, e-juices, kratom products, leaf wraps, a dab bar at the Hendersonville location, and much more. Visit Smokeville Smoke Shops today.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with expertise and tools with Windows 11 to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. To do more with a Latitude laptop, Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home, auto, and other vehicles.
In hockey, it's the goalie's job to protect the net. And in life, your net is your home and auto, but also your boat, motorcycle, RV, or ATV. And your goalie is the round-the-clock protection offered by Progressive Insurance. Well, it's also the savings you get when you bundle. So in this metaphor, you have two goalies, which is okay because, it's just a metaphor.
Forced Metaphors. Presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Darren McFarland.
I feel like we're a better playoff team.
Willie Donick.
You're in a window of a division you can win.
Chase McCabe.
I'm not signing him for more than $1 million.
The DDC. Weekdays from 10 to 2.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
David, you mentioned Barry Trotz. There's been some thoughts that maybe he would look at more of a front office type role and not as much coaching. Would you consider maybe bringing him in? I know when he left, there was a thought of he was offered something. Is that something that could be on the table?
Well, the last I looked, and you know as much as I know, is that I believe he's already had one interview as a coach, and I believe he's going to have 5 or 6 more interviews. And so I think it's irrelevant to talk about until Barry doesn't want to be a coach. As far as I know, he wants to be a coach.
Would you consider bringing somebody in that's from the outside to kind of help you look at things?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always looking for new ideas. My management staff goes over this all the time with Herb Fritsch and Sean. We go over this all the time. I think our hockey ops is in a good place, but could it be better? Could it be bigger, or in comparison to other teams? And I have some ideas on that. I think you're always looking for the right person in that. I mean, I don't know how close you follow all of the things, but we've made, like say, on the scouting front, which is first of all, I haven't provided our scouts with that ability to have that one good draft because we traded away a lot of picks, but we've changed our scouting a fair bit in the last 2 or 3 years, and I think we've really got good staffs, and I think we've had substantial improvement there. But your question is not only good, but it's right, and we're certainly looking to do different things. I want to talk to John and have talked to John about a couple of ideas. We're under Scott Nickel, we're growing our development staff, and those guys are fabulous. In our analytics department has done a great job. There's just lots of things that are happening in this game, really fast. And that was my long answer to say yes. I'll be looking to improve our organization.
That was David Poile last month talking about the potential additions to the staff for the Predators this offseason in terms of management. Now, the first part of that from Chase McCabe. At the time, it was a couple weeks after Barry Trotz was let go from the Islanders, and he was getting interviewed left and right, which, by the way, I did misspeak a minute ago. Vegas' job is no longer open. Bruce Cassidy, hired by Vegas. So he's to Vegas. Looks like Peter DeBoer is going to be with Dallas. That's not official yet, but looking like that may happen today for the Dallas Stars. So
musical chairs, move them around.
Yeah, there's some of that. There are some jobs that are about to be spoken for in the NHL. So some options dwindling for Barry Trotz at the head coaching part of it, but David Poile saying maybe that conversation's a little irrelevant until Barry Trotz determines that he wants to be out of coaching. Now, it is interesting LeBron had that report over the weekend. Like, I've always thought that one day Barry Trotz would be back here and he would be in a management role of some degree. Now, I don't know if I thought it would be as general manager, but I thought he'd do something with the Predators in their front office. Maybe that time is now. Like, to me, he's obviously still a really good coach. It still baffles me that the Islanders did what they did, but that's what they did. So the Islanders, we'll see how they respond to that. But like, I still think if Barry Trotz wanted to coach another 6 years, he could probably coach another 6 years. Like, he could do a really good job. So that's totally up to him at this point. It's interesting to think about what sort of a role he would serve in here. And after hearing Poile's answer there, like getting ideas from the outside, I think that could be a good thing for the Predators. And I know maybe you don't think of Barry Trotz as a quote-unquote outsider, but he has now been at two completely different places. It's not a bad idea.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's got a whole bunch more experience and just a different view from being at those different places. Like you said earlier, he's got a good feel for obviously the league and for players in the league right now. It's never bad to add a smart person. That's the thing. If you can add someone and you don't have like an ego situation. It's just adding, again, it's kind of like Jim Schwartz last year. Whatever credit he should get or whatever he really contributed, it's another smart guy who has a ton of experience, who's had a high level of success in the given league. So that's good, as long as it's not actually like a planned coup, which, of course, it never was. It's interesting on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Some people are talking about how Robert Nashville said maybe he wants Crispy's gig. I don't think that's.
He'd be good at it.
I'm sure he'd be good at it, but I think that might be the next thing.
Yeah.
But and Garrison said this feels like Fulmer as a AD situation at UT. That does not feel that way to me. Barry Trotz is someone in high demand. Philip Fulmer was not in demand. He was around Tennessee, was doing stuff with Tennessee, is always going to be a legend at Tennessee. That was a disastrous situation that they tried to save with him as a short-term Band-Aid. Barry Trotz coming in here, to me, would be this could be the GM. He's 59 years old. This could be the next GM for a stretch.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, that's not like the Fulmer situation.
What are your thoughts on Bill Haslam and his ownership of the Preds? Looks like the sale is continuing to go through. He's going to be a minority owner here in the short term, and then long term will be a majority owner of the Predators with their ownership group. Like, I look at this situation, and I saw some reaction to it yesterday when I got back plugged into the world. It seems like people think like this is some big deal in the short term. I don't really think it is. Like, short term, I don't think this changes a whole lot for the Predators. Long term, to me, you've got a guy that obviously has roots to Tennessee, being a former governor of Tennessee. To me, if anything else, like, I don't think the Predators were ever really in danger of moving anyway, but to me, this kind of solidifies that the Predators are here. They're going to be here to stay, and it never hurts to have a guy that is worth billions of dollars as a part of your ownership group if you're any team, especially an NHL team.
Yeah. No, I mean, I just look at it like the primary impact is long-term if things go poorly for a while. Like you've got more financial backing if you're struggling, and you don't have – if your majority owner wouldn't have any reason to want to move you, and why would he? It's just good to add a Tennessee billionaire to your group. Now, I feel like the reporting on this has been a little bit – I think people are always in the mindset of who owns the team. Well, now Bill Haslam owns the team. And I think even the initial reporting from Sportico was a little bit misleading. I mean, kudos to them for breaking the story, but it was a little bit misdelivered. Although I guess maybe once Bill Haslam becomes majority owner, could it be more like an out front situation with him? I suppose it could be. But again, unless the decision making process is going to change from what I understand it to be right now, then it's still an ownership group.
Yeah.
So you're adding a ton of money and someone who is very rooted in Tennessee to that group. That's a good thing to me.
Now, I will say I think he's going to bring a strong voice to the table, and I do wonder. I said this earlier in the show. The Predators. And some people love this about the Predators. Some people don't like this about the Predators. They have been incredibly patient as an organization. They've had 3 head coaches in the history of their franchise that spans almost 25 years, and they've had 1 general manager. So you're talking about the 2 most recognizable positions in sports outside of your players as general manager and head coach. They had 4 people in 25 years. It's pretty unbelievable. Like that doesn't happen very often. I do wonder, with a Haslam coming in, if more, seats at the ownership group table start to change, does that approach change? Because it's pretty much, whether it's the ownership group that's there now or whether it was Craig Leopold back in the day, like they've had the same approach. They've been very, very patient. Does that continue to be the case with some newer voices coming in? I don't know. It's an interesting question to me.
Haslam going to go all Jerry Jones on everybody? Is this what you're trying to say?
Could be.
Fire everybody.
We're out.
Jared, you're in. You're the GM.
Hey.
GM coach.
Jimmy has not been afraid to fire people in Cleveland.
That
I'll
is
say
true.
that.
That is true. I did really
Bill and Jimmy are not the same person, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of that out there. A lot of the, oh, my gosh, with what he's done in Cleveland, this is a terrible move, Preds. No, different Haslam. And this is how we got into the whole father-son or relatives playing sports. They aren't necessarily the same exact person either. Like, I'm pretty different from my brother. I can tell you that. Great guy. Just saying, we're just different people.
But you and Brennan are the same same person.
There's some of that.
This is not the day to say that to me right now, Michelle. We don't have time to get into that. I did want to get real quick to an unnamed person on the text line who doesn't want name mentioned. Works at Bridgestone and Nissan as a bartender. Plenty of us work these events. It's our job to make ends meet. Some seasons, events are few and far between. Our job is to know our customers, what they order. Tips are important. Help us make a decent living, whether it's popping a tab or mixing you a drink. Fast food restaurant workers make $15 or more an hour, for far more than any bartender out there as base pay. I don't know that that's true across the board, but point being, yeah, of course, tipping, I think, for like bartenders, servers, hugely important.
Yeah.
Will Bill Haslam come in and change that?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. Will you not be allowed to make tips anymore? We don't know for sure that he won't. Right?
We'll see what happens.
Maybe he's like Steve Buscemi in Reservoir Dogs. We don't know.
94.9 The Fan has launched today. Dan Patrick, Colin Cowherd, Outkick 360 coming up later this afternoon as well. So make sure you check out 94.9 The Fan, Nashville's newest sports talk radio station. Coming up next, we'll be joined by Darren McFarland. We'll get his thoughts on Barry Trotz as a potential management partner with the Nashville Predators, and all things Predators coming up next as well. This is Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You love the game.
Duchesne scores! Titans touchdown!
We live the game.
He's more of a physical receiver.
Are you looking for him? Is he making plays?
We are.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game 7.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. The city famous for its music is about to be overwhelmed by the Symphony of Speed. June 24th through 26th, Nashville Super Speedway will host an exciting weekend of NASCAR racing and entertainment featuring the Ally 400 Cup Series race, the Tennessee Lottery 250, and the Rackley Roofing 200. Tickets are going fast, so visit NashvilleSuperspeedway.com or call 866-RACE-TIX and brace yourself for some full throttle fun.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
As in all human conflict, adults fight and children suffer. Today, 7.5 million children in Ukraine need to find water and shelter. They need safety in school. They need a place to sleep and comfort in the dark. Show them the world cares. Support UNICEF on the ground in Ukraine. We won't stop until every child is safe. UNICEFUSA.org/action.
This is Stan Harrison, CEO of Apple Collision Centers. We understand that no one likes to deal with auto body repair and the inconvenience it becomes in your day-to-day life. I want to personally invite you to stop by and let our experienced staff see how we can help you make your vehicle look good as new. Apple Collision Center has 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Come by and see us or visit us online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Stop buying tickets without rewards and start getting more from the only ticketing company that rewards you for buying, Vivid Seats. Buy 10 tickets, the 11th is on us. That's like 10% back every time you buy. And with 100% buyer guarantee and over 100 million tickets sold, that's something to sing, laugh, cheer, scream, buy about. Head to vividseats.com for terms and conditions. Vivid Seats. Life happens live.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball. The leading receiver.
Awesome game 7.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Mixing sports and a little bit of fun.
This is fun!
On your morning drive. This is Robby and Rexrode. With Robby Stanley and Joe Rexrode on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it's showtime.
Welcome back in. Final hour of Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robby Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic, intern Hanley here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. And as we do every Monday at 9 o'clock, we welcome in our good friend Darren McFarland, host of Darren Donica Chase, also handles the Predators pre- and post-game duties for the Nashville Predators radio network. Darren, what's going on? How we doing?
Good morning show. Is that redundant?
No, I love it.
I don't think so.
You got a comma in between the 2 mornings.
Yeah, there
cool.
you go. Thank you, Joe. If you were writing that in the Athletic, that's how you would write it.
Yes,
so, okay,
just put the comma in there. That's fine.
By the way, we've had this discussion. My wife is also the comma police. I mean, she's grammar police, comma police. So it's like I have in-house schooling at all times. So I'm constantly being quizzed. But you know what? If it doesn't make me look stupid, then I'm all for it. But that's she should probably get paid for that because that's hard to do. But nonetheless,
that's a big job.
It is a big job.
Darren, we were talking about this throughout the show today. Great transition there, by the way. Good stuff. Barry Trotz, Pierre LeBrun coming out over the weekend saying that all options are on the table. Barry Trotz would like it to make a decision somewhere around July 1st about his future, whether that's coaching or in management. Pierre LeBrun saying that the Predators and Barry Trotz have at least chatted about a management position for him. What do you make of the idea of potentially Barry Trotz joining the management team here with the Preds?
I think what was interesting is I was under the impression that Barry Trotz had a house here. This is what I want investigated. Did Barry Trotz buy a new house and sell his old one, or had he already sold the old one and this is the new house that he has purchased? Because I was under the impression that he has always kept a house here, and then we find out this. Then the next layer is I realized the house, the new one that he bought in Davidson County, is about the size of mine, and I'm pretty ticked off because mine is not valued at $1.5 million, and I would like to pick up my house and move it to Davidson County, and I know the area where he bought it, and I would like to plop my house down there.
Well, Joe has broken down every square foot so far here on the program.
Retirement. I'm just saying, and while my house is valued here in Rutherford County, it is not, it is not to that point, but I was under the impression he always had a house here from people that I've talked to and talking with Barry over the years. So I was a little surprised to hear the news come out that he had bought a house. Again, like I said, I don't know if he just literally sold the one that he's kept here the whole time and bought that one, or if indeed the information that I've been told and what I thought, I was under the impression that maybe he didn't have a house for a period of time. So what do I make of all that? It's interesting, right? Because I've also been told for a good while that don't be surprised if that's not, what Barry does towards the end. But Barry's still not that old. I've also been told the same thing about Tim Corbin for years, don't be surprised. And I think now that they've got Candace Lee in there, that's probably, not going to happen, or certainly on a long hold, because I had been told that for a good while about Tim Corbin. Don't be surprised if he's not the next Vandy AD. So this stuff that I've heard for a good while, really none of it's happened to this point, and we're about to find out if it's going to happen on Barry's front. I think there's probably a point or a portion of Barry that just says, you know what more do I have to do before people keep questioning what I do? Like, what more do I have to prove to you that I'm more than capable of doing this job and doing it at a high level before I'm constantly being questioned or I'm constantly looking over my back, and in the end, I'm being shown the door. I can understand his frustration. That's ridiculous. And now it's happened on his last two stops, and his body of work has been at a very, very high level, and yet it hasn't worked out. Washington was a total embarrassment and a disaster. Again, from a front office person, here's an idea. Why don't you go down and do it? If you think you've got all the answers, remember this happened in Florida with Gerard Gallant, and I used to say the same thing. Well, if you're so damn smart, you go down on the bench and you figure it out if Gerard Gallant isn't good enough for your Florida Panthers team. By the way, we figured out Gerard Gallant, he's a pretty good coach, and that really didn't work out well, and I know they eventually got Q but, there's got to be a part of that with Barry. Is I'm just tired of people telling me what to do. I know what I'm doing. I'm a Hall of Fame coach. I still have coaching left in me. I still have the desire to coach, but I'm tired of always looking over my shoulder, and I'm tired of people telling me that, it's not good enough. Maybe I'll go upstairs and I'll tell people they're not good enough or what to do. So I do understand that. I just don't know what direction he's leaning.
Yeah, well, to your point, there were a lot of people in this time talking about John Hines, given what he's done so far. I don't even know why that would even be brought up, but it was, because that's what this league is. It's just you go to the coach so fast in this league to put all the blame on,
Yeah.
So what do you think if, let's say, something like this materialized, Darren? What do you think it would look like? How do you think it would work with him here? We've been kind of batting it around. I guess at some point the idea being become the team's general manager. How do you envision that if it were to play out that way?
Joe, I've thought about it over the weekend, and here's the tricky dynamic. Barry Trotz is so beloved, right, in this market for good reason. He's earned that. He is so beloved, and the problem with this is Do I think Barry could come in and whatever they ask him to do, he could do it at a high level and be successful at it? Of course. But when you're beloved in a market and Barry Trotz doesn't know how to be invisible, he's not going to be invisible. He's going to be just like he was as the head coach. He'll be out there. He'll be in the community. He'll be visible. He'll be out amongst the fans. And anytime something isn't going right, whether it's down on the bench or upstairs, it's a tricky dynamic, right? Because what do you think all the chatter is going to be? What do you think all the stuff on social media? What do you think all the stuff on this radio station will be? Well, put Barry Trotz there. He can fix it.
Yep.
It's just natural, and I understand that. And I don't know how they feel about that because that can't be a good feeling, right, for whether it's Sean Hines or even David Poile, considering their relationship, their long relationship and very good relationship. And I know, how it ended, but don't forget, Barry Trotz, being the class guy that he is, has never said anything bad about Nashville, has never said anything bad about David Poile, and realizes if it wasn't for David Poile, he would never be in this position. He gave him that start to eventually be what we believe is going to – well, not what we believe. He will be a Hall of Fame head coach in the National Hockey League, and David Poile is the reason. But it's tricky, right? Like, how do you do that? Like, who really wants to sign up for that? Because anytime something's not going right, the chatter – and we know how this works. Usually when people are mad, that's the voices that are the loudest, right? When people are happy, typically they're not loud. It's the people who are unhappy. And so the voices will be really loud, and they'll be screaming for Barry Trotz to take over and fix whatever's not working.
Darren McFarland on with us here on Robby and Rexrode. And Darren, I've been Team Tampa Bay Lightning for a while. They've won 11 playoff series in a row, and even when they get down in series, I think to myself, well, it's the Lightning. They'll be okay. I don't know if I feel this way in this one. This one, Colorado looks pretty unstoppable right now. What do you make of the deficit for Tampa Bay, and what's your confidence level that they can climb out of it like they have before, already twice this postseason, and get back into this series?
This is kind of my one shining moment, and we're not there yet, but I'm getting the reel ready because it took me 4 rounds, and I think I'm actually going to be right, finally, going against the Lightning. But it took 4 rounds to do it. I've been wrong the entire playoffs, picking against the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champs. But, yeah, I do think, look, I know they were just down 0-2 in the last series and came back and won the next 4 games against the Rangers. But I just saw a stat this morning. Teams that are up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup final, they're 47-5 on completing the mission. That's a pretty good record, even with my Kentucky math and my challenges of getting educated in the state of Kentucky. I realize that 47-5 is a really high winning percentage, and that means if you're up 2-0 in the Stanley Cup final, you're probably going to win it. So it looks like, and oh, by the way, I think Colorado's been the better team. I mean, look, I expect Tampa to respond in Game 3, right? They got embarrassed over the weekend. I mean, I don't think anybody could have seen that butt whooping coming on Saturday, right? I mean, that was just a good old-fashioned out-back just ass whooping. That's just what it was. And Tampa will respond. But in the end, I think I'm going to be right because I did pick Colorado. I kept with the theme, and I think they're going to win it. So that's my one shining moment. I think the Avs are going to win. I think Tampa's going to respond and win Game 3 just because they know what's on the line. They can't get down 0-3, and they just got embarrassed on national television.
Okay, what's your number right now? We keep giving our number on Forsberg signing with the Preds.
Joe, I'm here to report. I'm glad you asked. Thank you.
Good.
This is kind of like breaking news, and I'm going to go on and reveal it. I don't hold anything back. I don't save it for my show when I come on this show. I'm more than willing to divulge whatever I want, and then, I may regurgitate it. I may repeat it from 10 to 2. But I'm glad you asked because, to me, there seems to be a pattern developing. CMA Fest, Philip Forsberg, speaking of not invisible, Philip Forsberg is not invisible. He was out on the stage. We've broken down that video. We don't need to go there again. But guess what? Guess who was visible again yesterday? Did you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it? Philip Forsberg was at Nashville SC with his buddy George Kittle. And if you're planning on leaving, are you really visible? Are you really out there for everybody to see? Because a lot of attention is going to be on you. I think my percentages just went up. I think it just went up to 65%. He's coming back. So Willie gave it a bump of 3% with his last week with the CMA Fest video. I was standing pat. I didn't take insurance. The dealer asked for insurance. I was like, no insurance. And she said, insurance closed. But today, I'm bumping it up to 65%. Ooh. I'm bumping up 5% because Philip Forsberg and his buddy George Kittle were at the Nashville SC game yesterday. And look, he's out there saying, this is my home. Maybe I should bump it to 70. I don't know.
Do it.
I'm feeling frisky. It may be 70 by the time we get to 10 o'clock, but it's 65 right now.
I mean, what will it be by lunch? My goodness.
Joe, it may be 100%. No, it's not going to be 100% because it can only be 100% as if you know something, and I don't know.
Rumor
So
has
it's
it
not
Forsberg
100%.
was just spotted at the Mount Juliet Cracker Barrel out there, so
But
good for him.
if that's true, Robbie, if there's a picture and I see
Lock it in.
it's going up again. Tweet me that picture. The percentages are going up.
Darren McFarland, our guest here on Robby and Rexrode, joins us every Monday morning at 9 o'clock. You can check him out on the DDC every day from 10 to 2 here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Darren, great stuff as always. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Just remember, guys, I don't hold back on this show. Okay?
That's right.
I'm going to bring it. I'm not going to hold it till 10.
That's right.
Thanks for the fun.
Team player. Darren McFarland joins us every week here on the program. We'll take your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Join Chase McCabe for Chasing Checkers every Sunday morning at 8 for all the news in the world of motorsports.
Joey Logano gets the very first victory in the next-gen car
while hearing from the big names.
Two-time champion Kyle Busch.
Being able to bring NASCAR, the Cup Series, back to Nashville is cool.
It's Chasing Checkers, presented by Ample Collision Centers and the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
On ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And the Game Nashville app. Motley Crue, Def Leppard, the Stadium Tour, a once-in-a-lifetime event with Poison and Joan Jett of the Blackhearts. June 30th, Nissan Stadium. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com or at the Nissan Stadium box office. Motley Crue, Def Leppard, the Stadium Tour.
Where will you be for the Ally 400 at the Nashville Superspeedway? The Tootsie's Infield Club will be the coolest spot in the house before and during the race. With a shaded seating, cold drinks, and live music, it's just like Broadway at the Speedway. You'll be close to the bar, the bathroom, and all the action in Turn 4. How do you get in? Add a fan walk or pre-race track access pass to your Ally 400 ticket purchase, and we'll see you at the Tootsie's Infield Club.
We're in the most active season of the year right now, but if you've got joint pain, you may be on the sidelines. Hips, knees, back pain, shoulder pain. It sucks the fun out of living, but I've got the solution. QC Kinetics, helping people here in our listening area get the fun back. It's regenerative medicine. It's the hottest thing going. It's basically taking growth factors with the healing properties from your own body, highly concentrated, then putting them into your aching joints. This is exciting. It's in the office. It's non-surgical. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. So stop putting it off. Call QC Kinetics and learn more about regenerative medicine and get a free in-office consultation now. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics. Repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints and get the long-lasting relief from pain.
Hey, Nashville, it's Chase McCabe, Program Director of ESPN 102.5 The Game, and there's a new way that you can hear Nashville's best sports talk. It's on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24, you now have two choices to hear our great sports talk programming. And, of course, the Nashville Predators. Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
So sticky.
At Hannah's Organic Honey, business may be sweet, but they need an e-commerce queen bee to lead the hive.
Okay, these jars are going to Jakarta. Oh, wait a minute. Does that say Jackson?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Listen to Stillman & Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 102.5 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We may now begin our day. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
This Thursday, 102.5 The Game will be out at Nissan Stadium in the South Plaza from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. as Monster Jam is set to announce something big. Also, Monster Jam has partnered with Second Harvest Food Bank and is hosting a community food drive to support Nashville families facing hunger. For every 5 non-perishable items donated, fans will receive 1 complimentary ticket to this Saturday's Monster Jam event coming up at Nissan Stadium. Tickets available for the first 250 donations on site while supplies last. A limit of 4 complimentary vouchers per family/household. For more information, visit monsterjam.com. Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. We are live from the Hillside Medical Game Studio on this Monday morning. Joe, what did you make of Darren's comments there about Forsberg? And do you read anything into Forsberg being here, being visible? He was at CMA Fest. He got up on stage. He was at Nashville SC game yesterday with George Kittle. Do you read anything at all into that in terms of what that means for his contract negotiations and his potential future with the Nashville Predators?
I really don't. Am I wrong? I am the guy who didn't realize the Griffies played together, so maybe I am wrong. But I don't. I look at it like he lives here, and if it goes wrong, he said many times he wanted to be here. He lives here. Everybody knows he loves living here and all that stuff. It's not on him. Like if he knew, let's say he knows that he's not going to sign, doesn't matter, he's going to go somewhere else. So if that was you and you were him in that situation, would you just say, and also I'm going to dig myself into a hole like the Hobbit and never peep like why wouldn't you just go live your life? I don't buy that. I don't think it means anything.
Well, I don't know if I buy that either, but I probably am not getting on stage at CMA Fest talking about how much I love Nashville either. Like, I think there is if you know that you're leaving. Like, I don't think Philip Forsberg knows that. Like, I think he legitimately wants to be here. So
no, I agree.
Like, I think I don't know if I necessarily read into it in terms of this guarantees that he's staying or anything like that.
I don't at all.
Like, I just think it means that he wants to be here. He's made his position, whatever it is, whatever he's asking for. He and his agent, J.P. Barry, I think have made that pretty clear to the Predators. I think as Chris Johnston pointed out over the weekend, both sides are kind of dug in right now, and not much has changed on that regard. If it doesn't work out, like I don't think that just means that Philip Forsberg was wanting to get out of here at that point. I just think negotiations didn't go the way he thought at that point. But I don't think it means because he's hanging around that he's just like, all right, I'm signing. You'll check your emails. You'll see an announcement in 3 days.
No, there's a PR element to this. Not that it really matters too much. If Forsberg signs with the Kings or whoever, I mean, okay. So if Nashville fans are mad at him or not, they boo him or don't, does it really matter? Probably not. But if he does sign somewhere else, all these examples of him being out and loving life and going to CMA Fest and everything, just it's another, to me, it's like, see, he did want to be here, and Poyle screwed it up.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like, we'll probably, let's say it doesn't work out, and he ends up going to the free agent market and whatever deal he gets. Will we ever really know what he was asking for here and what the Predators were willing to give him? Probably not. It'd probably be difficult for that to come out. But
we'll just know what he signed for.
We'll just know what he signed for. So
if it's like 9 over 7, then I think it'll be fair to look at Poyle and be like, "What'd you do, man?"
Yeah, like this.
Or does it mean that Forsberg actually just really wanted to leave?
Well, it could be, and there's still a possibility. Like, nobody knows what Forsberg's asking for. Like, he could be asking for something just outrageous right now, and the Predators are like, "Yeah, man, we're not doing that." Like that could be. I don't know what he's asking for right now. But today's June 20th. July 13th is less than a month away. That's some Hendersonville High School math for you right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're getting close to the point where whatever the best offer is or the offer you're willing to live with in Forsberg's case is, here in a few weeks, you're going to have that number in mind as to what you're willing to take, or if you're the Predators, what you're willing to give in order to keep him here.
Well, Forsberg is like ridiculous. Let's say he's saying that's got to be 10. Then I can't blame Poyle for not crossing to there.
Yeah.
Because that's too much. But if that is the case, then my next question is, then why didn't you move him? If it was going to be this untenable situation where he's just totally unrealistic.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter now anyway because that time has passed. So I'm guessing it's a little bit more realistic than that, and that Poyle will probably get to whatever it is because he really kind of has to.
Yeah, I mean, Forsberg holds the cards now in this negotiation. Now, would it be a bad look? Let's say that Forsberg, at the end of the day, it just comes out that he really never had much of an intention of staying here, which I don't believe.
He's just like a nice guy suitor. Yeah. He's just a better played suitor.
Yeah.
Decade
I don't believe that's the case, but let's just say, for sake of argument, that ends up being what happens. And it's going to be pretty bad for him when he comes back. Like saying how much you want to be in Nashville, and then you're on CMA Fest talking about how much you love Nashville and all this other stuff, and you're just like, it's all right.
But how will that be known? I guess it's.
Well, I don't think it will be.
If he signs a, well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, people are going to be mad at him if he goes to some extent. Although I think it seems to me like in retrospect, most of the anger at the time was towards Suter and not Poyle.
That will not be the case this time.
In this case,
be the opposite.
It will be, flip-flop that. So when Forsberg comes back, no one will boo, but then they'll
playing for the Wild.
But then they'll put the camera on Poyle's box, and then everybody boos. I'm sure they'll do that in Bridgestone.
Forsberg goes to the Stars, so he can play with Suter now.
Ooh, there you go. Well,
just get them together.
Like if you're Forsberg and you aren't sure, if you're get everybody together. Where's Jimmy Vesey? Can you throw him in there somewhere? If you're Forsberg and you're not sure, what are you looking at? Because the Kings would be the obvious. They have all this space and they have Arvidsson and all this stuff.
I think people are really overblowing the Arvidsson thing, but yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure they are. It's an obvious link. He did like playing with them, so it's not just friendship. Like they had good chemistry together.
Yeah.
What else? Edmonton?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing.
I mean, your dollars go a lot farther there than like L.A. But L.A. is L.A.
Yeah, look.
I mean, he and Kittle can go to some Dodgers games.
Well, look, if you're making the type of money that he's about to make, you're going to be fine wherever you go. Right. Now, you'll be more fine here in terms of your dollar value. But, maybe, I mean, some people, when you make that much money, they don't really care. Like, yeah, that's fine. We'll go out to L.A. I don't know. Like, it could be what he's thinking. I mean, Darren's now at 65%. You're at 54. I'm at 52.
Jared's at 100. Which, as Darren rightly pointed out, so that means like you have actual knowledge that it's happening, which is not the case. But oh well.
April in Portland says they shouldn't sign him for one penny over $9 million. If he wants to be in Nashville bad enough, he needs to compromise. Much cheaper in Tennessee compared to other states. That needs to be considered. That's coming from April in Portland on the text line.
Yeah, I just really believe that it is more than money. Now maybe somewhere along the way he has a good feeling for what he thinks is going to happen here on the ice for the team, and so it's become just about money. At some point, maybe that's true, but if he's torn, or if it's not as simple as I'm coming if you get to here, or I'm going if you don't. If that's it, okay, then he's come to terms with what he thinks the hockey will be. But if he gets out there, to me, that also would probably speak to that. I mean, just not sure that he wants to go through. Maybe he just doesn't like the way things are going, and he feels like it's going to take a turn for the worse, and he's going to be missing the playoffs and stuff like that. I mean, I don't care what you say. These guys don't want to play losing teams, not being the postseason, not being the biggest games, not having a chance to get what everybody who plays hockey wants to have their name etched on.
Speaking of money, we'll get into the Jeffrey Simmons situation coming up next. If you're a Titans fan, do you think that John Robby should make Jeffrey Simmons' contract now a priority rather than waiting another year or two? 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025. We'll get into that coming up next. This baseball season, swing for the fences on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up with promo code ROB to get in on the action. FanDuel lets you bet the money line, home run props, strikeout totals, and so much more. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payday with a same-game parlay. The New York Yankees are off to a solid start this year. They're hitting the ball all over the place. Give me Anthony Rizzo over on home runs. But you take it any way you want to take it. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot. Just join with promo code ROB and turn a $5 bet into $200 in free bets, win or lose, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Got a gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
They're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
and I-840,
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
there's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
Honey, what's an 8-letter word for difficult to explain?
When we planned on retiring, we never planned on Medicare being so confusing.
What's a 6-letter word for special skills or knowledge?
Fortunately, Farm Bureau Health Plans is an expert on all things Medicare. With 75 years of helping Tennesseans, they helped us understand our Medicare options.
Why are these things so complicated?
Talk to your local representative or visit fbhp.com. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Plan on us.
People are driving from all over to shop at Genesis Diamonds right now to take advantage of our very best financing offer. Now extended through July 2nd. 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down. It's a fantastic opportunity, making everything more affordable. How about a $6,000 GIA certified diamond for just $100 a month? A $4,000 pair of diamond stud earrings, just $67 a month. Don't miss this. We will not be extending it again. 5 years, 0 interest financing, exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. Open this Sunday. Green Hills and Cool Springs. On approved credit.
Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stomach Company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have two choices to hear our great sports programming.
Get the extra point, no problem.
And the Nashville Predators.
Scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, it's ESPN NFL analyst Tim Hasselbeck on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Welcome back in. Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexrode, Michelle Knezovic, intern Hanley here with you on this Monday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. Oh, it's bad news for intern Hanley and her beloved Tampa Bay Lightning. Braden Point not at morning skate.
Oh, boy.
Andre Vasilevsky's not at morning skate either. I don't know if that necessarily means anything other than, hey, man, why don't you just save your skating for tonight? Or
maybe he's like, hey, guys, you know what? If you want me to play tonight, go watch.
Play a little bit better.
Yeah, watch the last game a couple times today. Boy.
They need Braden Point out there.
They're going to win the next 4, aren't they? Lightning in 6.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Brian Elliott, Conn Smythe winner. Backup goalie.
4 straight shutouts.
We'll see Game 3 of the Cup final coming up tonight. I believe it's 7 o'clock tonight, so looking forward to that. We'll see if Tampa Bay can make this a series. Coming up later against a machine known as the Colorado Avalanche.
Right after you and I talked to some Preds, we're talking to Preds season ticket holders tonight.
Oh, yeah.
You got some prepared remarks?
No prepared remarks, going off the cuff.
Yeah, no, we're answering questions, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Asked by Big Joe?
Yeah, Big Joe Dubin's going to be there.
Great.
It'll be a disaster.
I'll have to study up on my 38 special and Loverboy trivia.
Joe, what do you make of the question we threw out earlier in the show? If you're John Robinson and the Titans, we've talked a lot about Jeffrey Simmons and a potential new deal. He's got 2 years left on his contract. And if you wanted to play hardball with him, you could go 3 with a tag involved in there as well, where he's under your control and would no doubt be cheaper, and you will be able to operate and do other things around with the roster, around Jeffrey Simmons with the roster, that may enhance your chances of winning in the next couple of years. But I think everybody would agree Jeffrey Simmons has overperformed. He is worth way more than he's getting paid this year, which is around $4 million. I think it jumps up to over 10 next year. Aaron Donald just signed a deal where we're making about $30 million guaranteed for the next few years. So I don't know if Jeffrey Simmons is going to approach that, but probably valued somewhere in the mid-20s per year would be my guess. How do you handle this if you're John Robinson and the Titans, of a player that you love, that you want to have as a part of your football team for a long time, not just the next couple of years, but is also contractually at the moment under your control for the next 2, really the next 3 years at this point? How do you handle this if you're J-Rob and the Titans?
I'd show the foresight and understanding of my roster and personnel and do a nice big deal for him. Right around, I'll just throw out 4 for 85, 25 guaranteed. Gets his $25 million guaranteed. He no longer has to worry about playing for $4 million this year, having a disastrous injury and never getting the big payday. Gets the big payday. And I think by the end of a deal like that, I think it would look like a pretty good deal. Now, of course, you could always make the argument. Anybody who wants to oppose this argument, like any GM would probably say, okay, so in 2 years when he wants it redone, well, okay, if he's so good that he wants it redone in 2 years, then cross that bridge. But what's the cap at that point? I mean, what is the market at that point? How good is he at that point?
Well, if he wants it redone in 2 years, it's probably good news for your football team, would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, that does happen sometimes, but just I think he's exactly the guy you do this for based on I don't think Jeffrey Simmons has been anything but a positive force for the Titans on and off the field, and I think it's pretty simple, even if it is against convention for this particular franchise. So that's when you know you get yourself a good player, when you break from convention to do something like this. And John Robinson, frankly, has not had a high enough rate of second contracts for his own first round picks. I mean, we thought that. Well, I was going to say something about A.J. Brown, but he was a second-round pick. I mean, go through all of them, and, it's been – I mean, if you're constantly taking guys who you don't want to pay that second deal to, then that's not great over time. But also when you have one like this, and, again, we're talking about I think most people in the NFL would put him number 2 behind Aaron Donald. There's a gap. I mean – I don't think it's fair to expect him to become Aaron Donald. No one's Aaron Donald but Aaron Donald. That's why he's getting paid the money he is, and he's got a wing in Canton ready for him, okay? But I'd say he's number 2 right now, and still a very good number 2, and a guy that you want to lock up. So I think that's going to happen in July.
Well, he'll be 25 years old in late July. I mean, he's theoretically about to start entering into the prime years of his career. Now, your athletic prime, as you pointed out, 28 to 32.
Yes.
So he's still a ways off from that. But NFL, maybe it's a little bit earlier.
It's probably a little earlier.
A little earlier in the NFL.
I mean, maybe not. Maybe quarterbacks a little bit more on that timeline. Quarterback prime might be 35 to 39 now. I don't know.
Very well could be. Let's say Jeffrey Simmons has, for the next 2-3 years, has the same kind of year he had last year. Maybe not exactly the same in terms of stats, but same impact on the game. How much is that worth per year if you're the Titans? The type of year that he had a year ago. Because, I mean, what you would like for him to do is get better. I think it's going to be hard for him to be much better than he was last year. He's pretty darn good last year.
Yeah, so he could be better statistically.
Yeah.
But that doesn't – he could also be worse statistically and be better. I mean, that's what that position is. So, really, it is hard sometimes to – I mean, how many sacks of teammates did he really create? I think last year Simmons and Autry at times did such damage right off the snap that someone else got home.
Yep.
So there's no assist for that, in football. There are like pass rush win rate stats and all that type of stuff.
Well, it felt like his coming out party last year nationally was that Rams game against Aaron Donald and the Rams, but he was a monster in that game from the opening snap. Was a monster in that game, and I think we all, we knew what Jeffrey Simmons was here, and we had seen glimpses of it. But that was the game where I remember, I think I texted you that night. I was just like, whoa, look at Jeffrey Simmons in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And, of course, probably no coincidence that the guy who absolutely is the standard setter of that position was on the other sideline, and Jeffrey Simmons was more impactful than he was that particular night. So, yeah, that's the night where he gets home himself, too. So it's just like there's just no question he wrecked the game. But you can also – he's wrecked other games where he had no sacks. So to me, it's just if you are going to win – and think of the goal line situations where he – even from his rookie year, when he comes in late, he's off the ACL, and even late in that year, there were a couple situations where I was like, 98. What's he going to end up being? So, I mean, if you could count on last year's Jeffrey Simmons for the next 4 years, not one – ounce of improvement, the exact same guy. And I think he can improve, but let's say you see the exact same guy, that's well worth the numbers I put out there. I think well worth it. I think the numbers I put out there, 4 for 85, 25 guaranteed. Like if you're John Robinson hearing that we just said, he would right now, he's running to sign up for it.
Yeah. So do you think it gets done? I think it should get done. Do you think it will get done?
I do. I think it will. And they've gone out. Someone earlier mentioned Casey, the Jarrell Casey situation. Yep. So he got a 4-year, $60 extension. Robinson gave him that. Now he'd gotten a 4 for $36. What's that?
$60 million.
Yeah,
you said $60.
I said 4-year, $60.
Yeah.
Now John Robinson does a hard bargain over here.
Jarrell,
he was counting on tips.
Yeah.
He needed tips to be part of the salary. Wow. Yeah, 4-year, $60 million. Extension that Robinson gave him in 2017 after that 16 season when he was absolutely a load in 2016. And at that point, he was only 27.
I know.
That's the thing. I mean, when they moved him to Denver, which was with 1 year left on the deal, which it's interesting because I remember thinking in 20, like, that's going to be a really good Simmons now. Like coming into his own, and Casey is kind of like the mentor handoff. Like, wow, what a combo they could be. Well, they moved on a year early. There was 1 year left on his deal. He was 30. Obviously, it worked out really well. But, I mean, Casey still gave him that deal. I mean, he gave you 3 good years. He was slowing down a little bit. He was not as dominant, I'd say, in both 18 and 19 as he had been, like in 16 and 17 and before that. So, but right now, like you said, 25 years old, Jeffrey Simmons, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it will get done. I don't think we'll have a boss hog presser, but I think we'll have a presser during camp with Jeffrey Simmons talking about his new contract.
We'll take your thoughts, 615-737-1025, 615-737-1025 on Jeffrey Simmons and the Titans, 615-737-1025. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode here on ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
From Fox 17 News, this is a Code Red weather alert. I'm Fox 17 Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus. An air quality alert in effect throughout the entire day. If you have respiratory issues or are very active outdoors, limit your time outside. No humidity, but highs in the low 90s throughout the afternoon.
This weather report brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Get a great deal on versatile Kubota equipment today, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. Z Series mowers and Sidekick utility vehicles. Stop by your local Kubota dealer today. Bring home the Kubota L2501 tractor for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 60 months, plus save up to $1,100 now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more details.
Krebs Kubota. Stop in, click, or call. Visit them online at KrebsKubota.com.
Summer heat is here. How is your air conditioner holding up? Costs are rising everywhere. Grocery bills, gas bills, utility bills, you name it, up, up, up. Is your AC old, inefficient, costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months. No interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. All new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
The Authentically American 4th of July celebration is live and ready to ship. Go to authenticallyamerican.us right now to order yours. Plus 20% of all purchases from the 4th of July collection will be donated to Homes for Our Troops, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to build and donate specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Have a happy and safe 4th of July from Authentically American. Made for you. Made in America. Authentically American.
Where will you be for the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway? The Tootsie's Infield Club will be the coolest spot in the house before and during the race. With the shaded seating, cold drinks, and live music, it's just like Broadway at the Speedway. You'll be close to the bar, the bathroom, and all the action in Turn 4. How do you get in? Add a fan walk or pre-race track access pass to your Ally 400 ticket purchase, and we'll see you at the Tootsie's Infield Club.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to Robby and Rexrode
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
Well, you got to look historically how teams do their contracts. You'd think that they didn't mind going into my 5th year, just going into his 4th year. We're both first-round picks. And honestly, here's another thing: I have no idea. Right? I don't you're literally asking me things, and I could just speculate. I have no clue what Jeffrey Simmons is doing with his life right now. I could not even tell you where he's at in the building.
Well, you seem pretty confident that he wasn't.
Yeah, because I'm just going off of my experiences, right? That's what people do a lot. They just say because of their, what I know, it's the answer. But I really don't know shit, you know?
That was Taylor Lewan last week at minicamp. Been some interesting press conferences lately for Taylor Lewan.
That bleep, was that bleep a little bit off there? It was like bleep, then he said the word. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't
all
off,
right.
Joe.
Okay. I'm probably wrong. By the way, so I'm going to go back. He had a very good. Yeah, Michelle and I were both there. I think Hanley was there too, right? Hanley, yeah. Hanley, first day out of the Titans, got the up close view of Taylor Lewan. So I'm going to go back.
Nice 102-degree day out there last week. Good
yeah.
stuff. So
let me find this tweet. What day was that?
I know the tweet. It was Wednesday.
You know the tweet. It was Wednesday, so that's yeah. This is really good radio whenever I'm like, let me look something up while I'm
Ken Griffey Jr. and Senior played together?
All right, so here's the tweet. Taylor Lewan on DK Metcalf being in amazing shape while being able to eat Skittles. Quote, respectfully, bleep that guy, end quote. That was the tweet. 4,237 likes.
Wow.
Rexrode's cooler than us, Rob.
Well, no, that stuff gets shared, and like DK replied to it and said something, so yeah. I think Lewan said something. He was like all afraid that DK was going to beat him up, so typically backpedaling Lewan. God. Weak. How you want that guy to be your left tackle? He's gonna cower.
The podcaster.
Yeah, the podcaster. Yeah, get rid of him. Just kidding. But yes, always a good. Really, from a media perspective, please never cut him, Titans. Even when he totally sucks, kick him upstairs. Let him be like some kind of let him be in the front office in some capacity.
You need to always announce when he's coming back on the field. That's all I ask for if you're the Titans.
And that too. Yes, and that
always
too.
Make sure that we know that he's coming back into the game.
Yep, and I'm not going to do it. Real quick, just a different topic, but this is we were talking about this earlier. Ben on the text line, driven by WellsCounty.com. I want to get to this. Now that we have a legit owner and stability, let's rebuild on the Bill Haslam front.
Oh, talking about Preds. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place. Yeah, come on. But I mean, like that idea to me is like, this isn't going to be some transformational thing for like how they do business.
I don't think so.
Not anytime soon.
No.
First of all, it's going to be a period of years, right, over which he's going to become majority owner.
Right.
It's an ownership group, and David Poyle, Sean Henry is president and CEO, and David Poyle's GM, and John Hines the coach. So,
I don't think this changes much at all in the short term.
No, I don't think it changes one single thing.
Yeah. Like this idea, Forsberg.
Yeah.
Now it's with Haslam coming in there.
Philip, get over here. Make him an offer he can't
Go ahead
refuse.
and take that contract over there, man.
Yeah, you're going to sign this right now, buddy. Yeah, it's not going to change. But, yeah, again, long term, it means something. But I just wanted to get to that because I have seen – I feel like some people think that. Like this is going to be it's a totally different – and, again, I got to say, I'm a little disappointed in some media who cover the NHL writing this that he's the owner of the Preds. It's not what it is.
It is not what it is. But we'll see what happens in terms of long term, what it means. I mean, look, it's never a bad thing in my mind to add somebody worth billions of dollars to your ownership group. That is very good if you're the Predators. So
not at all.
Especially a guy that's from Tennessee. So that helps too.
Right. Like if you're adding someone from a billionaire from like Hamilton, Ontario, then that
maybe
would be,
you raise your eyebrows a little bit.
Yeah, it might be problematic. Yeah. I would say that Bill Haslam probably wants the Preds to stay in his home state.
I would say there's a pretty good chance of that. I missed a lot while I was gone last week. Tennessee baseball eliminated.
Yeah.
Your beloved Warriors winning another NBA title, which you're just giddy about. I've seen you all day. By the way, PK Subban's been on Get Up all day.
Yeah.
On ESPN. And they made him hang around for the NBA discussion. And then when they started talking about the Cup final, like Kendrick Perkins and everybody else, they just left. Like,
yeah.
What in the world?
I want to hear Perkins' take on the Stanley Cup final. But you're going to make PK talk about hoops? No, I'm here for every
There's a lot of trash talk between the Warriors and the Grizz. A lot.
The pettiness is amazing. I mean, you knew Draymond was going to do it. Draymond's going out on Perkins. He had that awesome Boston. Did you see that Boston Celtics T-shirt?
Yeah, the shirt was awesome.
The little place for and he's like, nope. Nope. You knew Draymond was going to talk every bit of trash, and I'm here for every little bit of it. And I also love, I mean, it is amazing to me that Clay got upset by a Jaren Jackson tweet that just said strength in numbers.
Yeah. And apparently he's been thinking about it for a long time.
It's a good troll. Like, it's a good troll.
He said it was from the regular season, didn't he?
It was like from like March. Yeah. No, I went back and like somebody had like screenshotted the tweet. And yeah, it's like, wow, that got you mad? And now, and of course, then Ja's like, oh, we got real estate. And, so it's great.
Hey, keep it coming.
If you're the Warriors, you can talk all the trash right now. But if you're the Grizzlies, don't back down. Talk your trash, too.
Did you see Draymond's tweet that said, not going to the parade if nobody's speaking or something like that?
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I saw something where they're going to, like, have them give speeches in a private thing, but then the parade, they're just going to parade around or something?
He was like, no speeches, not going.
Well, then they should change because you want Draymond. We all want Draymond to give the speech and talk, absolutely call every single person out.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's the whole point of the parade.
And yeah, your Vols. I did want to get your thoughts on that failure. We talked a lot about this last week, of course.
The most Tennessee thing of all time. The expectations are sky high, and then just a punch right to the gut. Don't even make it to Omaha. I mean, the bottom line is Notre Dame, they just came out and hit the crap out of the ball in that first game. And then, you play with fire long enough, you lose that first game, winning 2 in a row in postseason play is hard. And Notre Dame played really well. As we found out, they beat – who did they beat the other day? It was
they beat Texas, right?
They beat Texas. Yeah. That's right. And Texas is now eliminated.
Is gone.
Which, nice shout out to the Texas A&M pitcher walking off the mound yesterday with the horns down. That's good stuff. Texas is now out. Notre Dame, they got a chance to do some damage in this tournament. So
they did lose to Oklahoma yesterday, though.
They did. Part of it is, I think, they played really well, and Tennessee kind of got cold at the wrong time there, and pitching and defense was a problem throughout the postseason. So I don't know. If you're Tony Vitello, it's got to sting because I'm not sure you're ever going to have a team quite like that one again in terms of the mix. I mean, when they were in the conversation for one of the best teams ever. Now, you look at who they got coming back, the pitching still should be phenomenal next year. So they're going to have a chance to win and to be good and to get back to Omaha next year, but I don't know that they'll ever have quite the mix that they just had. It's hard to replicate what they just had.
Agree. So you don't think that this loss was a huge commentary on how they go about things and how it's karma biting them in the butt and they should totally be choir boys now and
don't think so.
Never talk trash again?
I don't think so.
Well, good. Then Vanderbilt fans can be mad at you this week too because I got a whole week of that. They're mad.
GB Joe.
They so badly want this to be some commentary on their very existence,
I did think when I logged back into Twitter yesterday, I was like, I wonder how many comments I have about Tennessee baseball on here.
Did you have a lot?
Just one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
people mostly left you alone.
They just left me alone, I guess.
Yeah. Tony V and the Vols. Well, first of all, they lost some guys who aren't going to do things the same way, but just keep doing exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
They'll be back. Vanderbilt will be back too.
Try not to get thrown out of the game though in the
yeah, I mean, look,
Super Regional.
Throwing up middle fingers and whatnot, probably not a good idea.
Probably not good.
Most of it's fine.
That's going to do it for us today. We'll be back 6 a.m. tomorrow. The DDC coming up next. You're listening to ESPN 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
You love The Game.
Duchesne scores! Titans touchdown!
We